Brief summary. The Midsomer Clapt, where the biggest vegetable competition has been interrupted by a grisly murder. 3 detectives have been sent down from the Heightened Crimes Investigation Unit in Glastonbury to Midsomer Clapt to investigate. So we have Rich is Nigel, our CSI gentleman. I'm really sorry, Brad, I've forgotten the...
It's fine. Arthur Jackson.
Arthur Jackson from Nyarlands, I believe is the colloquial. And Ryan, you were Dan Devoted fan.
Devoted Dan.
Yes.
Excellent. Danny, to his friends.
Yeah, sure. All right, Danny. Yes, and you can see, there is a weeping woman in like quite some emotional distress, being calmed down by 2 officers, and the door to the village hall is they've been put by 2 of those like old plastic school assembly chairs and just held open. One of them's got a fire extinguisher holding it there as well. As you head into the building, you can see that inside has been arrayed. It's a kind of spacious hall. Has been arrayed for the Midsomer Clapt, where the biggest vegetable competition. There's little planters and little pots sort of ready there for the judging. And there is a corpse. It is sort of sitting upright against a big plant pot. There's a big terracotta plant pot, which has a very nice pumpkin in. I mean, it doesn't look like an award-winning pumpkin, but it's a good effort. And the vines from the top of the pumpkin have crawled up and around the head of this man and just crushed the head. It hasn't burst it, but it has wrapped around it and has asphyxiated whoever this is, and the person is absolutely unrecognizable. You can also see that the right arm is free of vines, unlike most of the rest of the body, and the right hand is missing at the wrist. There is a huge pool of blood on the opposite side of the room. So about 30 feet away, like splattered, sprayed blood on the opposite side of the room. And the other door at the back, which just goes past the little kitchen out into the out to the back to the playing fields at the back, is swinging open.
This looks like a strange bit of all over a bit of vegetables. Seems rather unusual. Does anyone...
It's a cutthroat competition this year, isn't it?
Well, definitely. Seems to be gasping for air, this one. But do you happen to have any idea of who our victim might be?
Oh, we left the scene undisturbed for you, sir.
Oh, very well. Then I don't mind. But I think I'll let my friend Nigel have a go through of his pockets to find any. Perhaps he's got a wallet on him or something of that nature.
Oh. Is that okay with you, Nigel?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you snap on your gloves and you've got like the windbreaker with the HCIU logo on the back and everything. You lean in. This guy was wearing some kind of nice tweed coat and like over trousers when he died, and you you have to get out like the big chunky scissors that paramedics have and cut some of the vines away, but you eventually open up the clothing enough to find there are 2 pockets. You find a set of keys in one pocket and a wallet in the other. There's also, he has like an expensive looking watch on the left wrist, the one that is not missing. If you open up the wallet, you can see that there is a driving license in there with complete the date of birth. It says that the victim's name is Giles Webster. If you go on the roll 20, where's it gone? I have done a little evidence board should you wish to use that. And then in the notes there is you should have clues, locations, suspects, and the Quaid diagram. Oh, I should explain about the Quaid diagram. The Quaid diagram is the result of many intense years of anamorphological study, the study of mutant powers, and it shows how different mutant powers are correlated. So, for example, if you look in sector E4, where there's gravity control, people with gravity control are quite likely to also be able to do high energy dispersal, but they will absolutely never, ever have entangling hair down in A1. It's just unknown. It is a known fact of science. This is how the mutant powers are correlated. Those are the 4 handouts you have. If you want to use those, you're welcome to.
Is there a difference between a connected power and a correlated power as far as the fiction is concerned?
Yes, somewhat. So the out of universe explanation is that it costs more points to go to a correlated power rather than a connected power. But in universe, which means it's slightly less likely because powers don't tend to, but they absolutely can. So that's that is what is known as the core clue for this scene. You have found the identity of the victim. Is there anything else you'd like to investigate here?
So there's the body.
Yeah.
In like one side of the room, and then there's a huge pool of blood on the opposite side of the room. Like
Yes.
how far apart is that pool of blood?
About 20 feet.
Oh, geez,
It's sort of like splattered and sprayed, sort of where the wall is like the L shape. It seems to have hit at the back of the wall in the corner and then just sprayed up. Yeah.
Can we check for cause of death?
Yes. The cause of death is suffocation, crushing of the head. You can also, if you want, give me a spend of, hang on, I'll find it. Any of evidence collection, forensic anthropology, or forensic entomology.
Well,
if you want.
I'm happy to spend, was it just 1 point of evidence collection?
Yeah.
I'm happy to spend 1 point of evidence collection. Basically, I want to just double check that he did die by these vines crushing his head, rather than someone basically killing him another way and then stringing it up to look like that to try and implicate someone with plant control.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to try the video again. Just it might go badly. So you.
Hey, you're in sync.
Investigate a little. You look at like the stricturing lines and you've seen a little bit of this before. This like the bruising patterns and the that kind of thing. And it very much looks like his whole head is like purple underneath the vines, where it's just had the blood crushed and held in there. With the extra point of spend, the severed hand, the right hand that is missing, that looks to have been done post-mortem. There is very little blood coming from the stump, even though it has just been severed. He, there you go.
Also, the vines that have been wrapped around, has like one end of it been like crushed, like maybe someone with super strength has had it in their grasp and strangled someone with it, as opposed to the thing doing it itself.
Oh, that is absolutely an animorphology spend to work that out.
Does anyone have animorphology?
I can do that.
Cool. Yeah. So you have a little look. Yeah, you basically take a slicing of some of the cells and put it under a microscope and have a look at how the little xylem channels have rearranged themselves. So with a single point of animorphology.
And just to clarify, we are spending points from our pool rather than rolling a dice.
Yes. So investigative skills, you spend. So you can get some information just by looking. Some information that you can't get just by looking, you can spend a point for, but you will get more information from spending a point than just by looking. But yeah, there's no roll to do for investigative abilities.
Okay.
Which stops us from just basically hitting a brick wall in terms of the investigation.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because we can't roll high enough.
The whole thing is, if you ask the right questions, I will tell you the right answers. Because that is, you are experienced investigators. You get hunches, and your hunches are mostly correct. These vines definitely moved on their own. They are not damaged anywhere along their length. They have been moved internally. Something within the plant has basically just gone like around the guy's head and squeezed. With a single point of animorphology, you don't think this is the plant control power. It looks the similar effect of the plant control power, But with amphiphlogy, you recognize the effects of that power on the cells of the plant, and it has not done that. There are reagents and stuff you can like put a little test tube and put it in, and it didn't turn purple. So yeah, the plant control power wasn't present here.
Just having a quick scan of the.
I can't find the ability. There it is. There it is.
E0.
Yeah, E0 is plant control. Yeah.
Yeah, easier is plant control, but I believe
E6 is telekinesis.
Yes, if we are seeing that this is not a plant control ability, I believe we are looking for a telekinetic of some kind. Perhaps somebody who has hid this from those around me. Now, tell me, the other guy is with us, right? I don't think we ever got his name.
Sergeant Cooper, the
Sergeant Cooper. Sergeant Cooper, you're of this town and area, are you not?
He basically goes, huh?
Oh. Yes, okay. Finish your biscuit. But I do have some questions. The people of this town, how many of them are powered individuals, and do you know what? Do you keep a record?
Well, my Auntie Sue can like control water, but no, she's dead. Little Johnny Parker, he can fly. People tend to keep themselves around here.
So you don't have a registrar of all powers or anything of that nature?
You would know with no spend of law that it is illegal to force people to disclose their mutant status.
In Wales, yeah. In the US, it might not be.
Yeah, very much. There's a whole thing called Article 18 in the US, which means that some powers are super regulated, like self-detonation and radiation projection and things like that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But whilst we don't force people to tell people their powers, sure, we have a list of like known criminal. Like,
if someone has committed a crime, then and their mutant status has been part of the investigation, then yes, that would be something you can ask the uniforms to go and look up and see if there are any relevant people. You wouldn't know that now. You would need to go and look at the database back at the station and stuff.
Just make a note there. I think we're looking for someone, a telekinetic of some kind.
And in the general fiction, are these powers hereditary?
No. And well, kind of. The propensity for people who have a relative with a power to develop power is higher than normal, but those powers do not correlate between generations. So if someone has flight, their son or daughter or child is more likely to develop a power, but is no more likely to develop flight as a power.
Well,
does it look like the... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, does it look like the water in the vine was what was moved, rather than telekinesis?
Ooh.
Natural history spend. That's a single point in natural history, I think. No, tell you what. You can make a 1 or 2 spend from natural history.
I don't have any natural history, so I should have been a detective, really.
I have natural history. I can spend 1 in natural history. That's fine.
So you want 1?
So I'm just throwing these ideas, but they're not popping into my character's head.
Sure. Okay, so single point spend in natural history. Yes, it looks like something internal to the plant, and the only thing that really moves inside plants is water. I mean, you did a couple of like modules of biology at whatever college you went to, and you did a bit of botany, yeah. And it looks like it has been moved internally, definitely.
It looks like here that there's something's moved the plant on the inside. So either we have a telekinetic or somebody who can control water. Now I know you said your auntie is dead, but do you know of anyone else who has a similar power?
Not really, but I could go and have a look.
Well, I have some other questions for you. The Giles Webster is the poor victim over here. Do you...
Oh, bloody hell, the competition's going to be ruined then.
I'm going to wait for Rich.
Yeah, sure.
So, while we're waiting for Rich, I can use the toilet. Be back.
No worries.
I should be taking better notes.
Brad's just gone to the loo.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, don't worry. Everything okay?
Okay.
Yeah, all good. He's just screaming at the top of his lungs in excitement. So,
At least it's excitement.
indeed.
That's a good emotion to have associated with the phrase screaming at the top of his lungs, I guess.
Did Dougie come on or something?
No, he's just a mad lunatic tonight for whatever reason it is. I'm also playing this game very much like a video game in that I've got all these abilities. I don't want to spend the points. I've got 2 points in natural history, and I didn't want to say anything because I want to hold on to those for.
That is a completely viable way to play the game. Seriously, because
I'm just thinking of
not all of these clues will be useful.
I'm just thinking of the RPG where you hold on to the fire crystal, which does fire damage on demand. You hold on to that until the final battle. Then you use it, and it does like 2 digits worth of damage when your regular attack does 4 digits. It's like
yeah. It's the elixir problem, the mega elixir problem.
Yeah.
Can you remind me this guy's name as well?
Giles Webster, born 4th of April 1951. That's Sergeant Cooper reading off the driving license. Lives down the end of a village, last house on the right. Yeah, competition will be buggered then. Sorry.
What year was that?
4th of April 1951.
And is the pumpkin his?
That's an excellent question. There's no way to tell. No.
You win this competition anonymously?
This pumpkin is anonymous. You have a look around at some of the other vegetables. There's like a giant fucking marrow and like a bowl of radishes the size of your fist. And they all have, Mabel Parker 21 Queenscliff Drive, whatever. But this pumpkin is an anonymous pumpkin.
Interesting.
Can we find Mr. Giles' pumpkin?
Giles Webster is the master of ceremonies. He did not submit a vegetable. That honor typically, Sergeant Cooper will tell you, typically goes to the winner of the previous year's competition. So he will have won last year.
Well.
What did he win with last year?
A pumpkin.
I'm most curious. Who was the runner-up last year?
Okay. Sergeant Cooper doesn't know. He says, I don't know. I can go and have a look at the parish newsletter. Is there over the road in the church if you want? There's a backlog of them. It'll probably say in there.
That would be most helpful. Now, who is the woman who is crying outside before we go and speak to her? I'd like to know her name and what reason she has to be in such hysterics.
Awesome. So the camera sort of split screens while Arthur is talking, and then shows this crying outside, and then like cross fades across, and you see then the rock uniforms was taking a statement. So that would be Mabel Thatcher. She's the head of the WI. She's the warden of the church. Runs this. Lives in a cottage just next door. I believe she was the one to discover the body.
Quite.
Delicate sensibilities, hence the old waterworks.
Oh, I see. The poor old dear. Well, we'll certainly have a chat to her about what state the body was in when she found it, and perhaps any other information she can give us. But yes, knowing who especially given his method of execution, I am thinking that perhaps this was related to his win last year.
It's conceivable.
Do the car keys have the little beepy thing, or do they just like a set of normal keys? So can I?
Great question. They are not car keys. It is a single Yale key with a little, there's little plastic green tags on.
Okay.
But whatever paper was in the green tag has disappeared. It looks like through age. No one has ripped it out to disguise what the key is. It's just somebody doesn't.
This is the old style key that's got the long bit and then the crown type thing on the top on the end of it, or is it one that goes all the way along? Ooh, a prop.
It is actually one of those.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Just to clarify on the blood, there's a blood stain on the far wall,
Yes.
separate from him.
Yeah.
Is there any blood around the body?
There are some dribbles from the wrist. You can see that your initial impression, the first thing you think is you look at that big pool of blood, and you think that is a person's worth of blood. Like if someone had bled that much, they're probably not walking around. They might not be dead, but yeah. And whereas the wrist stump, it looks like it was severed post-mortem. There's a little bit of blood trickling out, but a pool sort of this big, not like 6 or 7 feet across.
Okay.
You can, if you wish, give me a spend from forensic anthropology, evidence collection. Yeah, one of those.
I will give you a point from evidence collection.
Cool. What was I going to say? There was definitely something I was going to say. The body looks anemic, like the blood has been, he has very little blood left in him, but there's only the little bit coming from the wrist wound. The tissue is all sort of spongy where there's not very much blood left in it.
Can we get the pool of blood, sampled and then sent back to the lab to
absolutely
confirm whose it is?
Yes, absolutely fine. Yeah. There's a few other sort of the local CSI techs. They're basically uniformed officers in the big white pajama pants, but they're sort of taking swabs from various different places. They take a little bit from the corpse and then a little bit from the bit across the room. So yeah, they will get back to you at some point about I'm just going to write on my little list. I might do it as like a clock, like Blaze in the Dark style, because I quite like that concept. So this is.
I'm gutted I didn't get to that game.
Blood analysis.
We'll have to do another one because that was super fun.
I'm happy to do another one.
Yeah.
And given this guy was the judge, does he have like any notes on him? Is there like a clipboard nearby, kind of sort of him marking down like who he thinks are good contenders for this year's competition?
Good question. He does not have any notes of that kind of anything like that on him. No.
Okay.
What reason could someone have to remove a hand? I mean, Somerset doesn't have much in the way of handprint scanners. Plus, those actually require the tissue to still be living most of the time anyway.
Yeah. Well, I did hear a case once where they pumped a bit of warm water through the pan to get it working again. Old episode of a TV show no one watches anymore. I think in Room Busters or something of that nature. I don't remember. Anyways, it seems though that if that blood over there belongs to this man over here, it seems he was insanguinated at some point along the lines. That seems rather unusual. And as we discussed, his hand was moved post-mortem, so perhaps a ring or a watch or some kind of jewelry. Do you happen to know if our judge here wore anything of that kind?
He's wearing a expensive watch, wasn't he? Wasn't that?
He's wearing a real expensive watch, like not quite a Rolex, but like what's an Omega or something, like an A- tier expensive watch. It's probably worth a couple of thousand. Look, just on the wrist alone.
And that's gone, or is that on the other wrist?
No, that is very much still there.
Okay, so that's.
But on the intact wrist.
On the intact wrist, yeah, he wore it on his left.
So perhaps a ring then of some kind, something. But then why take the whole hand? That seems more symbolic than, unless there was something that you couldn't remove. Perhaps this would-be killer was disturbed along his path. Well, I think the only thing for it is to speak to the crying woman outside and see if she heard anything.
I think I'd quite like to actually have a quick look at where the pool of blood is.
Yes.
And see if there is anything around there that might be capable of taking a hand off in an oblique manner. For example, a giant Venus flytrap.
Okay. I will offer
Or just
you
Seymour.
I will offer you a spend from. What's a good one?
All I've got is evidence collection, really. I could do fingerprinting, explosive devices, and energy residue analysis.
Evidence collection would be appropriate.
All right, my last point in evidence collection is getting spent.
I mean, from memory playing this game, the murder scene is definitely the place for evidence collection. So I wouldn't worry. But yeah, this hand has been cut immaculately cleanly, presumably by something unbelievably sharp. It doesn't look like a giant Venus flytrap has just mauled it off.
Would like a water blade have done this?
You think you're thinking heightened, yeah. It's either like heightened, like a mutant power has done this, or a legendary katana, or a laser. But there is no burning of the wound, so something weird has happened to take the hand off. Yeah, it's not just it's not just someone's got a hacksaw and just gone through it. Yeah.
Right. Can I see any residue
Ooh.
around where the blood is?
Does anyone have energy residue analysis?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got 1 point in it.
Do you want to spend your point?
Yes.
Okay. You are confident that a blast power was not used to take this off. So no water blast, no like concussion blast. This was not a no lightning on a thing. It wasn't a blast power. You will know what a blast power. You'll have done your safety courses on offenders with blast powers. They are like you would have training courses on offenders with guns or knives. You would have training on offenders with blast powers. They are the classic Superman heat beam eyes, or Iceman throwing ice, or like the sonar from Banshee or stuff like that. Yeah. So you are confident that it was not a. You get a little electronic meter out, and it measures the energy residue around the wrist stump. And yeah, you're confident that this was not a blast power.
Are we able, again, in speaking to the broader fiction, are we able to detect powers from blood?
Yes, but it is a time-consuming process.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you started now, if you got both sets of blood sampled, you would have a result by quite far through the case.
Okay.
But if you want to do that, you can absolutely do that. I mean, you might get the budgeteer for the person who does the budget for the department complaining a bit because it's a bit pricey, but it's nothing new to you. I mean, you're the HCIU, for God's sake. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you'd like to look at in the murder scene? Bear in mind, you can come back here. You can look at other evidence. You can look it over again. If you are finished, I will move you on a scene.
I think I don't have anything else here that has occurred to me yet. So.
And the wallet and keys was the only, like, you're not waiting for me to ask, like, does he have a phone on him, for example? You have told us the things that he has on him.
Yeah. I mean, you can check through the wallet to see if there's anything else in there, if you want to. He does not have a mobile phone on him, though. Okay. That one is blood tests back.
If we get the blood analysis for free, then we might as well do it. But is it like a pool spend of something later?
That one is something you have to send off for. That has to go to a full lab. That's not something you can do with the field.
But am I spending from my pool?
No. If you're relying on the department to do it for you, you don't spend from your personal pools.
So we might as well, right, for now.
Yes.
Or at least collect it, and then we can decide.
Well, put it this way, at least that way, if it turns out that one of these blood samples, either the one from the arm or the one from the larger pool over there, happens to be from our killer, perhaps then it will allow us to have the evidence to incarcerate them more easily.
And that is a good point to introduce the fact that you not only need to catch the killer, you need to find evidence that will put them away. You need to be able to prove to a jury that you have found the killer and that they are indeed guilty. You need to establish means, motive, opportunity as a base. Yeah.
So
Plus,
we'll
there's
we'll
whole
gather.
room for Prince.
Good thing I got speed. Do-do-do-do-do.
Okay. If anyone wants to do some fingerprints yourselves, you can. That will be a spend from fingerprinting, or you could get the Chumbly and Terrence, the two constables, to try and do it. It might take a little longer.
I'll
guess
dust for prints.
The one thing you mentioned was that one of the doors is sort of just blowing open.
Back door is indeed hanging open. Yeah.
So it might be worth doing it around there.
Okay. Do you want to spend from fingerprinting?
I have spent from fingerprinting.
Okay. Yeah. There is the right hand. It looks like of the right hand of fingerprints around the door handle are the most recently touched ones. I say because you investigated the back door, I'll also tell you that this has a barrel lock on the back door. One of these.
Does that key with the green tag on it match the door? That door.
You get it out of the evidence bag. You put your gloves on. You put it in. You try it in the door. Yeah, this is the back door key to the village hall.
Okay. Where does it lead?
Out onto there's a little sort of cafe area behind the village hall, which it's not like a regularly stocked cafe. They just do it for sort of like fetes and stuff. And then that leads out onto a set of playing fields, which sort of skirt the edge of the village. So it goes kind of along the side, and then this houses the other side of a big hedge. Yeah.
Just going to check to make sure there's no one in a big hooded cloak just on the other side of the hedge.
Funny you should say that. There isn't. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe this guy just tripped and fell on his own hand remover shears.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If no one has anything else that they want to do in the room, I'm going to go talk to what was her name?
I'll send off the fingerprints to the lab as well.
Brilliant.
Mabel
Thatcher.
Mabel Thatcher. Well, so the two BD cop people, they're okay. So keep going. They're discussing it. I kind of like sit down near-ish. You two gentlemen, can you leave her to me for a bit? I have a few questions for her. I understand she's in a bit of a state, but I think I can calm her back down.
Right, Sarge. And they head off. Yeah, this woman is sort of, she's had a really nasty shock. She is, or she is a phenomenal actress. It could be either.
It could be either. With empathy, I can tell which one it is, can't I?
Empathy is a really that's a cool power, because there's a specific way that empathy works.
Okay.
To dispense from it. Hang on, let me just find it. So empathy. You general ability. At any time, you may spend one empathy point to determine a subject's current prevalent emotional state. For a minute, you can monitor the subject as you speak to them for changes in that emotional state. That is done on a let me just find it. There is a chart, so I will tell you. I'm just going to do a snip and put it in the Discord.
Okay.
So this is the emotion chart. So I will tell you that right now she is probably at sad.
Right.
Yeah, and I will tell you during this. So you spend a point from empathy, and you get the little sort of wibbly effect that always accompanies that for you, and your vision goes a little bit funny, and you can just sense like the emotional state in by the micro expressions and the pheromones coming up. Yeah, but some like around the sad, depressed end of the scale.
Right. So she is being exactly as
she appears to be. Yeah, she is sad or depressed. That is
okay. So emotion control. That was one of the ones that was like, don't use this on people, right? Was that one?
Emotion control? You absolutely can.
There was one that was like, don't use this on innocent people because you'll get in trouble for it.
There is a lot of those. I have removed a lot of powers from the Quaid diagram for this. There are some fucking pineapple shit in there. But the emotion control, yes, is frowned upon usage, but it will be only frowned upon if you used it to make someone commit a crime. There is also influence others, which is actual mind control, and that is a lot worse. Emotion control to make a witness feel better might actually be part of your job. Influencing others, saying "stop being sad now," that's a lot worse. So emotion control, you can spend a point. No, sorry, you can spend. Let me just find it. Okay, you spend a point. Too difficult. No, sorry, you have to make a test. There's a good example how to use tests.
Okay.
So the default difficulty for this test to modify her state is 2. And then that is plus the number of steps you want to move her. So if you wanted to move her from middle of sad depressed to between joyful and content, that would be 1, 2, 3. That would be a difficulty of 5.
Right. And I can spend more points to make myself a bit easier. I think I want to get her between content and reflective.
Okay.
Rather than all, I don't want her happy because that's like that. She's gonna. That's too far.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. So roll me emotion control. How many points do you want to spend?
Okay. So it's D6, and that's 1, 2. So let's see. There. 3, 4, 5. Okay. I think I'll spend 4 points.
4 points. Okay. You succeed then. Yeah. You spend 4, and you just succeed. So.
Yeah.
You see the heaving shoulders sort of like recede, and you see that she's sort of scratching at her hands and biting her nails, and that sort of recedes a little bit. And what did you get? 5, yeah.
5. I overdid it a bit.
Yeah. Oh, well. And yeah, she sort of the breathing slows, and she goes,
no.
So she's between content and reflective.
Yeah. So she's not happy, but she's kind of just in a state where she'll answer questions normally and not do weird things. And like the way he does is he touches her hand just briefly, and there's just like this warming effect. Now, Mabel, I know I need you to calm down a little bit.
Some foghorn leghorn goodness.
And I need you to answer some questions for me if you can, if you're able.
Of course, Detective, of course.
Of course, that's
Were
good.
you such a lovely man, was Giles Webster?
Oh, I'm sure he was. But we are here investigating his untimely passing, and we are attempting to make sure that whatever was done to him is put to right. So now I would like you to tell me, how did you find the body, and did you hear anything beforehand?
Well, I was just watching the end of Bargain Hunt, the late one that comes on in the evening after 10 o'clock news. 4 point CC should remain spend 3 as he can't roll less than 1.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
You can recoup.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, again, I don't know these rules that well, so please do pick me up.
I didn't know if it was like a tie meant that he failed it or
you
whatever.
have to spend a minimum of 1, but there's no upper limit. Yeah.
All right.
We just finished watching the end of Bargain Hunt when it comes on after the 10:30 news, ITV, and I heard some noises coming out because I live in that little cottage. She points to a cottage just across the road, which is like the church warden's cottage.
Yeah.
She's so I lives over there, and I was just in my 90s, so I got my coat on, I got my boots on, I came over, and all the lights were off, but poor Mr. Webster was apparently poor Mr. Webster was in there, and no one else was there, and there was blood everywhere, and
It's all right. Don't fret yourself too much. Now, the noises you heard. Now, what kind of noises were they?
Ooh, that's a good question. I heard usually they're bloody kids up around the rec center at night, and they they draw graffiti on stuff, and it's but I thought it might be them. Just a bit of banging and crashing, and what else would she have heard? I'm just trying to work this out myself. That's probably all she would have heard from inside another building, just banging and crashing. So she assumed that it was just some bloody goodies. Yeah.
So you assume that there was some bloody hoodies or whatever you want to call them deciding to graffiti your fine church here. Now, in terms of which door did you come in to? Like, when did you find the poor man inside?
Well, I got the keys to the front doors, you see, because I set up for the Women's Institute on Saturday mornings and Tuesday evenings. So I opened up the front door and I worked in, and up on the west end, yeah, there was there was a body, and so yeah, she points to the front doors, the ones that you entered through, and yeah.
Interesting. And you didn't see anyone when you heard the noises leaving in a hurry. And you didn't see any lights either coming on.
I didn't see any lights. There was no one here when I got here. No.
And everything was as you saw it when you first came in. Nothing unusual or strange. It's fine. It's fine.
You can sense with your point of empathy spend, she moves a little bit probably towards sad, I would guess. You know, a little bit further around that the matrix, because people's emotions change sort of naturally.
Yeah.
And said, well, I didn't really notice much, to be honest. I let out a fearful scream, and Mr. Hopper from next door, he came out to see what was going on, and he called the police.
Well, that was good of him to do very quickly. So you should be, and do not worry about anything. There was nothing you could have done, well, unless you're a powered individual and you could shoot lightning bolts or something. I don't think that's the case, but you never know. So,
Next second.
Turns out she could shoot lightning bolts.
No, I got no power to speak of. I got a metal hip though.
Well, I would avoid thunderstorms then if I were you. That's my advice as a general rule. Now, so to recap, you heard some noises just after the bargain hunt, came out to check it out, opened the door, found the poor man in his situation that he was in, but saw no others, and your neighbor is the one who called the police.
Mr. Hopper.
Mr. Hopper.
Lives at number 3 next door.
Mr. Hopper, well, thank you very much, and I do hope you have a good day today. I have a final question. Now, I've asked a few of the sergeants around and various people, but was Mr. Webster well liked in the community?
Oh, well, like there's always disputes. He was a lawyer, so he did make a few enemies in his time, but personally, he was very well liked.
Personally, he was well liked by you, I guess, based on your reactions to his incidents, and I can tell you're a truthful sort. So
she moves a little bit towards happy, as you say, because basically her internal monologue is, "Oh, he's a very handsome young man, isn't he?"
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I just want to ask you: do you happen to know any of these enemies or anyone who would wish him harm that you could think about in your head?
Hang on, let me just check my notes again. I know he's never got on with Gerald Mason down at Chetworthy Quarry.
Gerald Mason, thank you. That is most helpful. I imagine with your help, we will crack this case in no time. Now, I think that's all I have for you now, and I hope you do have a much more pleasant day and week than you've had this morning.
Oh, thank you kindly. Yeah, you can see the Chumley, who's the one of the constables, has taken her details. So yeah, you can always witnesses like crime scenes, unless they flee, you can always come back to.
Yeah. So yeah, he'll rejoin the others. Yeah. He'll go back in.
Do we have a time of death yet?
Yes. That is absolutely part of Nigel's purview. Death established around between 10 and 11 last night.
Yeah. What time is it now?
8 or 9 in the morning. Yeah, like they called you guys out. You got the call at like 6 in the morning, and yeah, because you're kind of on standby as a unit for the whole of Somerset.
I suppose it would have taken that long for them to realise, oh, this is evolving powers, isn't it?
And then they had to look you up in the phone book because no one has broadband around here. Yeah.
Yeah, Somerset.
Yeah.
And of course, they had to stop for their tea and biscuit. Oh, they ain't getting any deader.
As you say, and you say that, Chumley's like, what? Yeah. Okay.
Well.
So, do you have? I'm just going to put another little thing on the box. Do you have any leads you want to follow up on?
There is the matter of Gerald Basin. Apparently, they've had words together, and then we could also go back to the station and look up any
next of kin
and any powered individuals that may occur who have something we're looking for.
Given he was a lawyer, perhaps worth looking at what significant case files he had.
There is also, where his house is, and the constables have contacts a relative who can get you keys to the house if you need to look around the house.
I look around the crime scene before we go. She said she heard banging and crashing.
Sounds of a struggle, certainly, yeah.
Oh, okay. So so he put up some kind of a fight, some kind or another.
How disturbed is it in there?
There's a few pots that have been knocked over and stuff. Like you can see that he was kicking his legs as he died. Like there's scuff marks on the assembly hall floors where teachers are always telling you not to run on them in trainers because you'll mark the floors. Yeah, the floors are marked.
Is it possible to determine, was he surprised by this person, or was he did he know who they were? I'm trying to think of how you do that. It happens in detective shows all the time. They go oh, because of the way that the struggle happened, they determined very quickly that the victim knew the assailant, essentially. I'm trying to think of how they do that.
There is definitely definitely a power way of doing that. I can't remember what it's called.
I suppose you could check for skin fragments under the nails. Like if you got into a physical altercation, you could check for lesions on the knuckles to see if he was punching things.
Shame we only have one hand to do that with. Perhaps.
Yes.
Indeed.
I mean, we can use forensics to try and build a picture of the crime
basically
scene.
The way that you do that is with investigative skills or asking me questions about it, basically. So
true.
Yes, there seems to have been signs of a struggle. As far as whether he was surprised, it's difficult to tell, to be honest. He didn't go down in one blow. It wasn't like someone whacked him on the back of the head or shot him in the face and he died instantly. He took a while. So
yeah.
Does he have any defensive wounds that are not plant-based?
Or
does he have any wounds that aren't plant-based?
Only the missing hand. In fact, you can see that the legs have been violently kicking. Actually, if you look at the you sort of take off one of his boots and you see this bruising, peri-mortem bruising around the heel, and he looks like he's fractured his foot with how wildly he was kicking. But the other arm is actually wrapped up by vines, so he probably didn't have the use of it as he was dying.
But and he doesn't have any. Well, it doesn't have any.
He's not been stabbed. He's not been shot. He hasn't, as far as you can tell, he hasn't been hit with anything.
And he hasn't been doing any hitting or scratching to anything other than the plant.
Not that you can tell.
Okay.
Okay.
What is cognition as a power?
No, cognition is an interesting one. Cognition's a really interesting one. Okay, so you can spend it as you see fit. If you want to do some supercomputer stuff, if you want to go through someone's accounts or something super quickly, you could do that. The other use of cognition is you can make a specifically 3-point spend from cognition. Then you tell me a theory that you have, and I tell you freezing, cold, warm, hot, boiling.
Okay.
Yeah. It can't be used to like fill in gaps. I can only tell you about things that you already know. So you can say, I think it was Mabel Thatcher because I saw her levitating and throwing fire, and he's clearly been burned to death. I would say freezing. But yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
It's like a guess when you're playing Cluedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like then we need to go find his records of who he has helped. We actually don't know what kind of lawyer he is, but perhaps he made someone very angry in some kind of way.
Perhaps his home address would have some files, and if failing that, the address of his office.
Does his wallet have a business card that tells us what sort of...
It does have a business card, yes. He has an office in, what's a medium-sized town in Somerset?
Yeovil.
Yeovil. He has an office in Yeovil, yeah.
I was in Yeovil on Thursday.
Hey.
Poor you.
I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. So it does list. It lists like a landline number and a home number, but no mobile number.
But does it say like criminal lawyer on there or
environmental?
Environmental.
Ooh. And
that'd be why the quarry guy and him are at odds.
Possibly. The business card looks a few years old. Like he may have been retired. Yeah. Okay, so where are you heading for our next scene?
Should we just try calling the business line number on the card?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You get your mobile phone out, and your department issued mobile phone, and you call it, and it says, "Thank you for calling Lanson and Webster Solicitors. We are currently closed. Our business hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. If you would like a consultation, please press 1. For an update on an existing case, please press 2, etc., etc." It goes through the whole menu. It is early Sunday morning. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think. I'm all for the home address, but
sure.
That's where I would go first.
Cool. You can see that Sergeant Cooper has had the keys passed off to him by a relative, who is presumably making some kind of funeral arrangements currently.
Also, got to identify the body.
It's not going to be open casket. Put it that way. Yeah. You okay? So yeah, you get back in the old Panda Club.
As we leave, is there like a local coroner like ready to sort of do their job and take the body back to?
Yes. Yeah. So it'll go to the police morgue. And then once the case is investigated, if not closed, it will be released to the not coroner, what's the mortician or yeah. So you head down. It's not a long drive. The whole village is a 10-minute drive to cross, less 5-minute drive to cross. And you come down sort of over the crest of a hill. You can see there's a pub on the left and another pub on the right, and then a little village shop. And then you come sort of down the crest of the hill, curving around to the right, and there is a pair of cottages, a little sort of in a bit like meadow court, and just this pair of little quaint cottages. One of them has like a flashy BMW outside that looks, relatively. It's got like a 17 plate, dark blue, quite respectable looking. The other one has like a beat up Ford Fiesta. So you know that it is number 2, which is the one on the right, the one with the beamer. And you head into the cottage. It's a small, nicely appointed. It looks like there's probably like a cleaning service that comes in. You can see like there's a little cupboard in the kitchen where the cleaning supplies are. There's like it looks like only he lives here, probably lives alone. There is a kitchen on the left, a living room on the right, a little sort of downstairs toilet, and then upstairs there is a bedroom and a study.
Was there any signs of disturbance when we got here?
Any signs of disturbance here? No. There is a cat that's sort of meowing quite loudly because it hasn't been fed this morning.
Arthur will go feed the cat.
I
We don't need that having to disturb us while we're busy. And perhaps you two could head up to the study, have a look around.
Yeah, you head up to the study. You can see there's a like this is, you know, the expression "an Englishman's home is his castle." It's very much, you know, this is like the seat of the house. You know, this is where people spend the most time. There's a big window looking out across the rest of the village, the fields at that. Actually, you can see the out of the window one side, you can see the village hall off in the distance across the field. There's like a big fish tank full of tropical fish, like a computer setup with a very neatly placed laptop on a on like one of those leather desktops, you know, like the wooden desk with the leather little writing area and then a laptop on there. Yeah.
Let's boot up this laptop.
Okay. Yeah. It asks for a password.
I'm gonna try and use my technopathy to get me in there.
Sure. How many?
I was going to suggest that if he's an old boy, he might have his password written down on.
That's fair. That's fair.
See, those are two very different approaches that which could both very much be successful. So, how many points do you want to spend on technopathy? I would say it's going to be he's not using like a hexadecimal string. Put it that way. It's a relatively simple. I'm going to say
check the cat's collar for a name.
The cat is called. Oh God. No, that's your name. The cat is called. No, that's the fucking witness. Jesus, I can't think of any names.
Aloysius.
Thank you. Yes, the cat is called Aloysius.
Type that in.
Might as well try. Yeah.
Nope, doesn't work. I'm afraid. Okay. What I would say is you can make a test. You can make a. No, this is a technopathy. Sorry, you don't. Yeah, it's technopathy. You don't. So I would say you can make a test here of either 1 or 3, whichever you like.
1 or 3 points.
Yeah. The 3 will get you both the thing that you would get with 1 and something else.
And when you say it's a test, so I still have to roll?
No, sorry, it's not a test. I got that wrong because I'm bad at rules.
This is just a spend.
Yeah, it's an investigative skill, technopathy, so it's just a spend. Yeah.
Let's spend.
Go on,
Let's
3.
go. Let's go big. Yeah, let's spend 3.
Okay. So you not only open up the laptop, you know, it's like simple Windows laptop, you know, it's got like the logo of the law firm on the desktop, like on the lock screen. You open it up, with your technopathy, you sort of concentrate and let the electromagnetic charge build up in your fingertips and sort of lay it on the laptop keys. And you not only open the laptop up, you also pull what the password was out of it. The password is Petunia. Yeah, so slightly more difficult, but other information.
Does he have any petunias knocking around?
The garden has a lot of flowers and yeah, there's a vegetable garden at the back. Actually, there's a flower and a vegetable garden on both properties here. So you can see most of the houses in the village do have those. Yeah. Yeah, so you have a look in. Yeah, he was retired. You can see that the active case files stopped being updated sort of a year and a half ago, but it looks like he has been like diving into the files just through interest, through like a company intranet and that kind of thing. There are a number of a lot of it is like environmental studies where companies will pay an environmental company to survey the land and make sure it's okay to be built on, and they're the sort of facilitators for that. There are a couple of litigations. So the Clapworthy Quarry, notably a few years ago, has had like let chemicals leach into the soil, and they were sued by the county council. So they also managed that case. Yeah.
Is Gerald mentioned in those documents?
Gerald Mason is mentioned as what's the opposite of a plaintiff? I don't have any points in law.
Defendant.
Thank you.
I think.
Defendant. Yes. I should really know that if I'm running an investigation game. Gerald Mason is named as one of the defendants. Yeah.
On an unrelated note, is there anything in his calendar for last night?
Ooh, no. There is nothing in the. There is nothing. You sort of go into the mail and have a look at the calendar. It doesn't look like he updates stuff into a digital calendar. Like he. You can see that clearly somebody has been updating it, but that's a few years ago. Probably like a PA has been. In fact, yeah, you see some notes like from Ben, like someone called Ben has made all of these appointments for him. Yeah.
Anything in his emails? Like, I know what you did.
A good question.
It was me.
I killed them all, including myself. What? No. Emails. There's. He was invited to like a golfing weekend that's going to be happening in a few weeks' time that he'll never get to go to. But yeah, like it looks fairly mundane what is on the this is a work laptop, so he wasn't like indulging in any vices upon it.
What about sent items?
Sent items. I will ask you for. I will offer you a spend from. Where's the character sheet? Look at that. Document analysis, data retrieval, or electronic surveillance. A single point spend.
Let's go for data retrieval.
Data retrieval, excellent. Okay, so you actually go into his. He looks like he kept his inbox quite orderly. Everything was deleted on time when it was finished with. But you sort of go into the recycle bin and sort of reconstitute. He didn't like shred the data. He just stuck it in recycle bin. So you go back in and you have a look, and a couple of things sort of catch your eye. But one in particular is that he ordered a safe a few months ago, like quite an expensive home safe.
I think this is the point where Arthur comes up in the room. Have you found anything interesting, gentlemen?
He owns a safe somewhere around here.
Well, it's not. Is it? Do you know what model, make? Is it a wall safe, floor safe, freestanding?
Wall safe.
Well, then I suggest we start taking pictures off the walls, then, gentlemen. That's the classic. My great old nana had one back in Nolans.
I will always bow to the classics. Yeah. There is actually like a painting of the village hall and church as they were in their original construction. Apparently the village hall burned down like 80 years ago or something. You know, there was a standard thing, and it was rebuilt. But this is like a Victorian drawing, and you take that off and take that off the wall, and there is a wall safe behind it.
Well, here we go.
It's a 9-numbered keypad. 0 to 9 keypad.
Yeah. Any guesses on the numbers? Tech is not my forte. People are more easily my putty, as it were.
Could I use like fingerprinting?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, a single point of fingerprinting would, definitely a perfect use of fingerprinting as well. Single point. The numbers that are used are going in order from 1 across. 1, 2. I'm trying not to repeat numbers. 1, 2, 4, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 7, 9.
Jeez.
Wait.
So they could have been pressed more than once each, but yeah.
Well, he might have done his birthday.
What's this guy's date of birth?
No, his date of birth was 1951.
4th of April,
4th
1951.
of April, 1951. There's no 5 in this number.
No.
That was my first thought.
And mine, which is why I didn't make it that.
Is it one of those keypads that have letters as well?
No, it doesn't look to be.
Ooh.
Go on, sorry. Go on.
Does his calendar have any birthdays that aren't his own in there? Like the birthday of a spouse or offspring?
Okay, yeah. So there are, I'm going to say, half a dozen birthdays in there. They don't. mention a year, but there is one for that says John's birthday. You connect that with John Lansdon is the other partner in the law firm. There is Mabel's birthday, which is like 3rd of November. So John's birthday was like the 12th of June. 3rd of November. There are, a couple of people that you recognize, Nigel, from the like legal documents. The one that stands out is it just says, he checks his notes quickly, DM's birthday, and that is 12th of April.
So we just type, do we know how many digits this lock requires?
You could get that from the manufacturer's specs.
Mm-hmm.
If you had them. You could also make a single point technopathy spend to work that out. That's not a complex thing.
Can I just
we can just Google it, right?
Can I spend a common sense roll and just enter like the numbers, get it wrong once, and just to see?
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. 5 digits.
5 digits.
5 digits.
Ooh, which means that it is those 5 numbers because those are the ones that are pressed.
In that order as well, though.
Just type in 12479 then.
Just, are we overthinking this? Yeah, go. Let's do it.
12479.
Yeah.
It opens. Yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily. It just happened that the date it was did have the numbers in order. Yeah. So inside there is let's see. There is a bunch of legal papers. There is a folder with what looks to be a folded over piece of paper in it. And there is a will as well. His will, obviously. The kind of things you would keep in a safe. The will leaves the entirety of his estate to someone called Doreen Morrison. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where I put it. There are again a few details of some of the legal cases, sort of the hard copies of the it said DM's birthday. There's a few hard copies of some of the lawsuits, including a few bits from the Clatworthy Quarry lawsuit, among others, some of his other I'll keep an eye on these cases kind of thing. And there is a note in a little, one of those little plastic folders, and you open it, and it's been sort of put into a little extra thing in there, and you put gloves on to take it out. There is a note in there. It looks to have been hand delivered. It is not quite newspaper cutout letters, but it's close. It is a note full of vitriol, like, you took everything from me, I will do that to you, you're not going to do this to me again, etc., etc., etc. For a 1 point spend of chemistry, fingerprinting, forensic psychology, or textual analysis, I could tell you more.
I'm happy to spend my last point in fingerprinting, unless anyone's got spare points into one of those other skills.
I've got forensic psychology, so I might spend the point in that.
This will be different information for each of those, by the way, or could be different information for each of those.
I think I would.
So first of all, forensic psychology. Yeah, the person who wrote this note, you have a look at some of the overlapping a little bit with the textual analysis. You look at this has got some real, like, the paper has been really like carved into with a pen. Whoever this was angry enough to kill.
I'll also do fingerprinting and send that off to the lab with a question of, do these match the fingerprints of Mr. Quarry owner? What was his name again?
Gerald Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With the fingerprinting spend, there are fingerprints on this. you would be able to compare them to ones at the crime scene that you picked up. They do not match the victim. Actually, some of them match the victim, where it looks like he's been holding paper like this and reading. But there are others that don't. You can also see, notably, there is like a thumbprint where someone has held the paper like this. And there is some kind of tacky residue on the paper, like someone has something on their hands before they held the letter.
Ooh, this would probably be... What would this be?
Chemistry.
Chemistry. I don't have any chemistry.
Again, you could absolutely do that. You can send that off to the lab and see what they say.
If nobody has chemistry, then we should send that off to the lab.
I do.
Oh,
sorry. Yes. Apologies.
Okay.
Didn't realize I did.
You take a few samples from it. That's a single point spend. It is a mixture of chemicals. There is like magnesium nitrate, magnesium calcite, ammonium nitrate, and some kind of iron material. Most of those you would guess fertilizer.
I was thinking fertilizer.
Yeah.
Fertilizer bomb.
And man. Ammonium nathrone fuel oil. No. These don't. With the chemistry spend, these aren't bomb ingredients. It is fertilizer. You can also make another spend from chemistry if you want to learn a little bit more, but you don't have to.
I have the points. Is it anyone think we need to, or should we? I guess we can hold off for now, or send it to the lab, right?
And again, you have this evidence now. You can come back and review it if you want to later. Yeah.
So there's fertilizer on the murder note, basically.
Yeah.
Fertilizer is not typically something that you find in a quarry, is it?
No, it's not. Shale dust, and well, depending on what kind of quarry we have, probably Wales.
It's not Wales. It's Somerset.
Somerset.
Oh, Somerset. Okay, so be chalk.
Chalk.
Could be.
Mm.
Yeah, but these are some. At least some of these are standard industrial chemicals. Like, so they could be found in a quarry, although it is unlikely. They are more. Most of them, certainly ammonium nitrate and magnesium sulfate, those are bog standard fertilizers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
this possibly isn't from the quarry. Possibly it's from whoever came in second place in the marrow competition last year.
That's very possible. We should also see
we had someone going through those old records, didn't we?
Yes, that I've got a clock there for that. That's going to run out at some point. I really like the clock system. It's very good.
It's very good. Yeah. How old is the will?
It
would be dated.
Yes, it absolutely is. I'm trying to think when it's from. Recent. Probably when he retired, he redid it just because he knew where his assets were going to be.
So a couple of years ago.
Yeah, 18.
So not like 2 days. Okay.
Not suspiciously recent.
No, it's not like a week ago. It's last year, the year before, like end of the year before last. Yeah.
Who witnessed the signing of the will?
John Lansdowne.
That's the other partner in the firm.
Other partner in the firm. Yeah, just got his buddy to do it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
John isn't named anywhere in the will, if that helps.
Who is?
One person. I leave the entirety of my estate and all proceeds becoming to Doreen Morrison.
That seems rather unusual, and given they do not share a surname, and in this fine area, usually people that are that close get married, so something is a little hinky in this area. We need to find out who this Doreen Morrison is.
Sure. Okay. Anything else you want to have a look at in the
I'd like to go and see if there are any petunias in the back garden, or maybe in a vase somewhere in the house itself.
Ooh, excellent question. Natural history. If you want to make a 3-point spend from natural history, you can. It's an expensive spend, so you don't have to.
I don't have any points to spend.
There are petunias in the garden. Yeah. There is a lovely patch of petunias. Actually, it's very well. You can see he was a keen gardener, probably more keen in the last couple of years as well. He's retired. He's got a bit more time on his hands, and possibly some basil and rosemary on his hands as well.
Fuck you, Joseph. I love it, but fuck you.
I hate myself for that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he's got petunias, and are they quite featured quite prominently? Are they like in an area that is like you walk out suddenly, bam, petunias?
No.
Or are they like central somewhere?
That's forensic psychology.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's classic forensic psychology, working out where where the significance of things are.
Don't have any points on that either.
I do.
Do you want to spend?
Sure.
You walk through the garden and sort of you try and get yourself in the mindset of the guy and kind of mind palace a bit with where everything is around you. And one thing is the petunias are at the heart of the garden. There is some kind of significance there. Yeah. Like the whether or not he noticed that, this could have been completely subconscious on his part.
Subconscious is the window to the soul and our real and true intentions. So this man clearly held these petunias in a special place.
Have we covered everything that was in the safe? We got the will, we got the notes.
And the case files, yeah.
Case files.
Yeah, the case files, yeah.
Is the name Petunia mentioned anywhere in any of the case files?
No.
Okay.
Perhaps it's a pet name for this Doreen Morrison, or perhaps she grows them. It would seem likely, given he willed everything to her for some reason or another.
Sure.
Are there any photos in the house?
No, there are notably none.
Are there spaces where there should be photos in the dust?
No. That is a very good question. No, he seems like a guy who didn't have a lot of friends and did not have a lot of family. The guy who you got the keys, or the sergeant got the keys from, was like a nephew who had to come from London, who hasn't seen him in 4 or 5 years. They traded Christmas cards. That's about it. He didn't have a lot of people close to him.
Do we know the name of his cleaner?
Let's say Marie. Yeah, she comes on Wednesday afternoons. Yeah, she actually. You can ask the sergeant about this. He'd say, yeah, she has quite a lot of different places in the village that she goes. Yeah.
Is his car keys anywhere in the house?
Yes. Yeah, hung up on a hook by the front door. Free car. No.
If we go to his car, does like the sat nav in the car have like a last destination or anything?
That's a banging question. I need to think about that because I hadn't thought about that.
If it's from 2017, then it would have an inbuilt sat nav.
It absolutely. It's full bells and whistles. Yes, it has an address in Yeovil, 2 addresses in Yeovil, in fact, on different sides of the city. Sorry, that was really harsh.
No, it's fine. Yeovil's a bit of a hole. Is it even a city? No, it's a town. Yeovil's a town.
He wouldn't have put the sat nav on to go to the pub. So there's that. There's like a couple of addresses in London. There's like Gatwick Airport at one point, like a while back. But yeah.
This guy has no mobile phone either, does he?
He doesn't, no. Quite an old-fashioned dude. Like a lot of the decor, especially like no spend required, but from forensic psychology, he looks like he was a very old-fashioned dude. Like there's a lot of tweed in the wardrobe, put it that way.
Yeah, it has a very modern, expensive car.
Yeah, it's status symbol. Again, that's a free for it may even have been a gift. Actually, no, you'll, like somewhere in the documents in the safe, you can see that the deed was given to him. It was bought for him as a retirement present from the law firm. Yeah.
Do you know that's extremely common? The whole something like 90% of people buy very expensive cards, not because they need them, but because it's the status symbol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ridiculously high.
Do we know when the GPS was last? Is like the Yeovil address, was that like from a day ago, a week ago?
Between a week and 3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I just Google those addresses, is it a business or
one is a residential street, one is in the city centre and looks to be the law offices.
He needs a GPS to go to his own workplace.
Maybe it was pre-programmed in.
Maybe that's true.
And if it's getting like live traffic updates,
Yeah, that's.
There you go. All right. I'll let you off.
Thank you, very kind of you. I have not thought of this many things. This is good practice. You get a call on your mobile. Probably Dan. You get a call on your mobile. Here, Sarge. We had a look through the old records of the competition. Looks like last year runner-up was. Let's have a look here. Joshua Harper.
Joshua Harper.
Harper, yeah, with an H. Harper.
Harper with an H. Lovely job.
Yeah.
Well, we have a few more people to speak to then. So Joshua Harper is now on that list. I'm not sure. I think we should do our due diligence, or perhaps we can send one of the other squatties down and have that chat with the quarry just to get his alibi and everything else as to where he was. So Joshua Harper and DM, or as we now know her name to be, Doreen Morrison.
Yep.
But we need to find out who this Doreen is first. So perhaps back at the station they'll have a record of her name.
Yeah, if you want to head back to the station, that's absolutely fine. You can send the. It'll probably be Sergeant Cooper goes off to the quarry to like gather alibis, etc.
Yeah.
See if you can track down addresses for various people: Doreen Morrison, Gerald Mason, Joshua Harper.
Yeah, no worries.
See if any of them are that address in Yeovil that he went to.
Yeah, kind of reverse look up on that address as
Absolutely, well. Yes. Okay, so we cut to commercial break. We see some adverts for Toyotas and baby food and various things, and then Crime on 3, sponsored by Powergen, etc. I watch a lot of Midsomer. I really like Midsomer Murders. And we come back in and we are in the police station house. It is very much a converted building. Like it's an old farmhouse that became a police station. You know, everything around here is quite like listed building. So
and everyone's eating ice cream?
Everyone is eating cheesecake, yeah. One of the constables accidentally ran over a man the other week. Yeah. So I'm gonna move these clocks on a little bit. It is now the afternoon of the day. The blood analysis is back. The animorphological analysis has gone to the lab. It's been like shipped off by courier. It'll be back maybe tomorrow. The sergeant is still down at the quarry. The blood analysis, okay? Just the simple PCR test. Whose DNA is this? They tested the blood on the floor, and they tested the victim. They match. This is the victim's blood that has been pooled over on the other side of the room. Yeah.
But he died. We can see from the scuff marks that he died at the place where the body was found.
Yes, he did.
So somehow the blood has gone all the way over there.
Yes.
I think your blood is a liquid, water, mostly, anyways, and therefore, then perhaps a powered individual could move the blood. For what reason, I'm very confused about at the moment, but it is a working theory.
I could also offer you a 2-point spend from Animorphology, which may become a 1-point spend later on.
So what if we keep on talking?
If we figure out more evidence, it might become more obvious. Yeah.
All right. So was there any like blood residue between the body and the pool?
No. It was body, 20 feet of clean floor, massacre site. Yeah.
I know there's teleportation. Is there teleportation of other things?
No.
Power. Okay.
No, that will be basically telekinesis, but yeah, teleportation is its own thing.
I feel like we're missing something, which is kind of the point.
Just need to gather more evidence is all. We need to speak to more people, find more clues, and those.
Okay. During this time, the constables have been hard at work. So what things did you have them investigating?
I think they were gathering statements from everybody.
Statements, yeah.
The neighbor as well, if he heard anything different than the woman as well. I don't think we got his name. He was the number 3. I believe.
What the neighbor to Webster?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. His name is David Crumper.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fingerprints on the door.
Ooh, yeah.
Fingerprints on the door of the vehicle belong to the victim. Yeah. There are many other fingerprints around. It is a public place. It's a public area. The most recent ones on the door were the victims, and
were they on the inside of the door or the outside?
Outside. There were the prints on the inside of the door. Most recently, were not the victims, and they don't match the. They don't match any known people in the database. The fingerprints on the note, they have come back. They similarly, there are some of the victims, and there are some of another individual who does not match a database.
Do they match the door? Those are any of the unknown ones on the door? No.
No, okay. They don't. Actually, no. I tell you what. I think most likely, if they are testing everyone's fingerprints just to be sure, the ones on the inside door probably going to be Mabel Thatcher's. But whether that's surprising or not is kind of up to you to decide.
I mean, she would have been using that that door on a semi-regular basis anyway.
This is her place, yeah. In fact, you know that on Saturday afternoon she locks up after the WI.
Yes, she said that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at this point, you're sort of sitting around having a coffee, discussing the case. You've been given sort of their like equipment room, which is sort of like a table and a little tea urn put on it, and then everything's been pushed to the side, so you can sit in there. And the sergeant comes in and says, "Shadow, we're with old Mason up at the quarry. He says he don't know nothing. He hadn't heard that Webster was dead. He was completely surprised. He was actually a little bit he was a little bit rude. I'm going to say it. He was a little bit rude. He thought we were there. He's had a little stuff nicked from one of their sheds. He thought we were there for that. But when it turned out I was there investigating a murder, he were quite dismissive.
Did he have an alibi?
He was at home watching Bargain Hunt.
Can you corroborate that?
I quizzed him, I quizzed him, Sarge, and he did indeed know that the red team won by £371, which is quite specific. Although he could have put it on Sky Plus, so.
That's oddly specific, isn't it? Like the fact that he knows that number exactly.
It's up to you.
Don't suppose we have his fingerprints on file anywhere?
No.
He's kept his nose relatively clean then, so he's not.
Also, your query about people in the database who have powers, who have had convictions in the past, has come back. There is a guy who lives with his mum here now, who was in prison for arson, who had the fire projection power. There is a guy who has a public indecency charge, who has the flying power. I will leave that to your imagination.
The second you would be able to fly, you would do it. Just once.
I mean, to be fair, I'd probably also have the public urination charge levied against me as well.
Yeah, that was definitely it. He was just whizzing from half a mile up in the air. Because I'm free. And yeah, there is a school teacher who had a reckless driving conviction, who has the ice blast power.
So he was driving and casting Ice Blast to like do 6 skids.
No, it was relevant to the conviction because he abandoned the car, and the DNA was linked to him because the DNA was proven to contain the Ice Blast power, and he was known to have the Ice Blast power.
Right.
Okay. None of those are leaping out at me.
None of those powers allow you to do what killed our poor man or insanguinate him either. So I don't
That
think.
said, we should check to make sure that the Quaid diagram, just to see if there's anything linked.
True.
Yeah, you have a big like vinyl poster kind of version as part of your investigation kit because it is a real key part of HCIU.
So, where's
We're all looking at flying, aren't we?
Flight is
Projection is
B4.
D2. Flight is B4. Ice Blast is A2. Did I say any others? They can't have been important if I did.
fire projection? I think.
Fire projection D2.
No, I don't think. I think ice.
Oh yeah.
Heat blast, sonic blast, sonar strength regeneration. No. No, I think these may be unrelated. We have a person going around with a power that he's non-exposed.
Quick question about the limb extension power. Is it only your own limbs that you can extend?
I would presume so.
Because I'm just thinking, grab by the wrist, put it all the way, and then use the linked natural weaponry, just go lop.
If the limb
That's
extends,
amazing.
and if the limb extends, maybe that's why the blood is on one side of the thing.
That is
you know what I mean?
exactly what I was thinking.
Limb extension is only belongs to your own limbs.
Okay.
That said, the victim could have.
Yeah, he could have
Even
reached towards the
extension.
door, right?
Possible.
Yeah. So the
Could have
victim
saw who it was and then extended his arm towards him.
and then got his hand lopped off for the trouble.
Or disintegrated.
What is your next avenue of investigation?
Like, is it worth going to the quarry ourselves to check out the burglary? Like, is that?
Oh yeah, that's a question.
Possibly, yes.
What was the burglary about? What was stolen?
A few sacks of chemicals. One of their sheds was broken into.
Are they the same chemicals that we analysed on the letter?
You don't know. There wasn't a note taken. The sergeant wasn't investigating the burglary, basically.
Okay.
But you're more than welcome to go and find out.
Has anyone been to investigate the burglary?
No. It was reported and logged in the system, but it was logged as low priority because A, it was not a valuable item that was stolen, and B, there's a murder. So
when was it logged?
Oh
into
yeah,
the system?
when was it logged?
4 days ago. No, 3 weeks ago. Sorry.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but police response times in the West Country aren't.
They're so busy.
Very relaxed.
Cuts, man.
Well, shall we? I think perhaps seeing the benefactor of his death might be a wise move.
Yeah, we'll track down MB.
Yes.
Sorry, DM.
EM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doreen Morrison.
Okay. Yes, that is something you can absolutely do. You have a look at the person registration database, whatever thing that police use. I don't really know. Yeah, there are a number of Doreen Morrisons in the sort of surrounding area. There's one in a village like 10 miles north. There's one quite a way to the south. There is one that matches up with the birth date you were given, who does live in Yeovil.
At the address that the sat-nav was going to?
Nearby, at least, yes. There is a phone number if you want to call. or you can go in person, which might take a bit more time.
I get the feeling that if she is the beneficiary, probably this is an in-person conversation to have.
Yeah.
Also, it means that you can use your powers to
to adjust
do
them.
whatever it is that you do.
Ah, yes. Well, within reason, yes.
Okay, yeah. If you want to hop in the car to Yeovil, you certainly can.
Yeah.
You speed down the... He checks Google Maps.
Down the A road.
It's gonna be like a B. It's gonna be a B
Oh,
road.
a B road. Okay.
Let's go for this one. No, you speed up the A3065. Up, sort of going off northwest to northeast to Yeovil. You come to the address that was listed. It is a small vet's surgery. Like a small animal like cat, dog, not like horses, but yeah, small animal like a local vet surgery. And you go and there's a receptionist who says, all right, officer. Thank you, Ryan. You're sending me Somerset place names because I'm flailing. Can I be of any help, officer?
Yeah. Yes, we're looking for a Doreen Morrison.
Oh, you do have a lovely voice, don't you? Doreen's just in there with a Pekingese, but she'll be out in a minute. There's a little sort of seating area. You can see there's a guy with like a big African grey parrot in a cage who's just waiting to be seen.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to wait.
You'll probably be waiting about like sort of 25 minutes. There's like a consultation going on in a different room, but it's like a big like linoleum floored. This is the place that sees a lot of accidental wee. A big linoleum floored waiting room where there's like a big like dollopy like Great Dane comes in, and then Richard's disappeared. Like, my greatest fear with this was that you were going to immediately solve the whole thing in the first 15 minutes. So I'm glad that it is actually, presenting at least something of a challenge.
When you know the solution, one of two things will happen. They will solve it immediately, or will take them far longer than you expect.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, actually, Shepton Mallet is slightly larger than I thought it was.
Oh, nice.
So, these are all towns. Yeovil is the biggest. Yeovil's even bigger than Glastonbury.
Wow.
But near Glastonbury is Street. Then you've also got Wells, which is where Hot Fuzz was filmed.
Yeah.
You've got Shepton Mallet, which has a prison.
Ilminster.
I'm sure I've been to Ilminster.
You good, Rich?
Good.
Okay. So you get a big dollopy Great Dane comes in and is just like like seriously having trouble breathing. Then this little Pekingese comes sort of trotting out. There's a woman looks to be in she's about 40, you would say. She's wearing like a vet's like scrubs, and she has like a little bone nameplate, like a bone in the shape of a bone, not made of bone, that says Doreen on it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, hello."
Hello. Do you have somewhere private we could talk? We have some private information for you to relay to you.
Oh, come on in. Yeah, she brings you into the consultation room, which is like got like a big like examination table and stuff. It's quite a small room. You kind of have to pack in the three of you, but yeah.
So when we get in the room, I immediately trigger empathy.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look-ski at the old table. Between curious and anxious.
So she doesn't know he's dead. Okay. Well, or maybe she does. I'm not sure. Well, she doesn't know yet. Let's go with that. I need the chart. Where's the chart? There's the chart. That's what I want. So she's there. Okay. Do sit down. I do have some unfortunate news to relay to you. Do you know a man by the name?
Anxious.
Yeah, she's going for. Do you know a man? do you know a man by the name? Where's my names?
Giles Webster.
Do you know a man by the name of Giles Webster?
Elastic back to curious. No.
Well, that's unusual. Well, do you see? He was unfortunately he was.
We've got a photo of him on his driving license, haven't we?
We do, yes.
Yeah. I'd say so. You may not have it on you, but
no. But could we like have a folio with his headshot in it?
I'd say yeah. You've got a picture on your phone. Yeah.
So, this man here, perhaps you know him by a different name.
I never met him. I'm sorry. Could I get? Ooh. I don't fucking know what that would be. Anthropology. If anyone has an anthropology or forensic anthropology, they can make a single point spend.
Does she have similar physical characteristics to this guy?
She has connected earlobes, which are a recessive genetic trait. She has a dimple on the left, which is a recessive genetic trait. It is a good bet that they are at least related.
Okay, that's unusual. Okay, so I'm a bit perplexed then because we have some information that we're not at liberty to release to you right now, but we were under the impression that you knew each other at least at some level.
No, I've never met him. Sorry.
Have you seen any strange men? Not necessarily this man, but perhaps a car driving by your place of residence or place of business, and just staying out there for quite a long time.
I like a dark blue BMW 17 plate.
Thank you, uniformed officer. Great.
And I'm like, damn.
No, but I mean, we got security cameras if you want to look.
That would be most helpful. I do hope that you. I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused at the moment because I was sure you would know each other, but let's have a look at those security tapes and perhaps we can unravel this mystery. Okay, so she's still
possibly he's a friend of your father's then.
Oh, I didn't know my father.
That's a surprise.
That's what I was expecting.
What about your mother?
Oh, my mother. She died recently, actually. Sort of 8 months ago, 2 years ago.
8 months or 2 years ago. 2 years ago, right.
Was that 8 months or 2 years ago in
18
character?
years. 18 months to 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, I didn't hear
Between 18 and 24 months.
Right.
Was that roughly when he retired?
Roundabout, yeah.
What did your mother do for a living before she passed? I just had a curiosity.
Oh, well, she was a bit of an homemaker, really. She didn't have a job, per se. I mean, she married my stepfather many years ago, just after I was born. And then he was... brain. Not
sure.
Pick a job. Dentist. He was a dentist. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. But she didn't do much.
Right.
That sounds dismissive.
Before she was a homemaker, well, actually, given her age, yeah, I guess yeah, sure, yeah. So she's always been a homemaker. Okay, that's fine. Well, could you show us to these tapes? I want to have a look.
Sure. Yeah, there is a little. It's all done centrally through like the reception desk, so you all have to crowd round behind this reception desk. Yeah. This room is like about the size of Ryan's D&D table room. So and it's got like a big Great Dane and a parrot and 5 people other than you guys in it. It's a bit of a squad. But yeah, you scroll back to
well, we have the date when he was last in the area from the sat nav, right?
You do. Yes. You scroll back to that day, you see a remarkably healthier than the last time you saw him, Giles Webster, on the security state. He drops a box off at reception and leaves.
What was in that box?
There was a bloke. He came. The receptionist talking.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a bloke said we looked after his dog and left this big box of chocolates for Doreen. The date of that is the same date as her birthday. Really nice as well they were. Fortnum and Mason.
I need a small consult with my fellow police officers outside, just for a small smidgen a moment.
Based on that tape, I need to know: is there anything odd about his arm? It's not like a claw for an arm or any.
That is actually a good question. Because claw is a power, and there are other powers that manifest through hands. But no, not by the tape can you see if he has like 3-inch claws. No, it's a regular hand.
Is there anything on the hand
or the wrist?
No, he's wearing a he's wearing a ring. He's wearing a ring.
Okay, so it is a ring.
Is it like look like it's is he wearing that on his ring finger, like a wedding band?
No, he's wearing it on. I'm going to say middle finger. It's like a gentleman's club is a different thing. Like a gentleman's organization. like
the Masons,
like an old boys club, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
by all means, yeah, please.
Yes. We go out.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, I don't know whether or not we have the right or the wherewithal or the correct countenance to tell this poor woman that her biological father has now passed. Or that her biological father is the one who's been delivering chocolates to her on her birthday.
The will. Who is the executor of the will? Who is the person who will be enacting the will?
It's probably
partner, right?
Probably
partner.
the former.
I would probably say the partner. Yeah.
We should probably go and speak to him as well.
Yes, we'll speak to him and see whether or not he knows of the whole affair and whatever else constituted this thing, and see if we can get
literally affair.
literally from the sounds. Yes, I think perhaps letting him break the news to her is the better way to go about this.
Like, does the will say anything about imparting information to the beneficiary of said will?
No.
It's just a simple everything that I own is now hers.
Yeah, but there's nothing precluding him from telling her either.
No.
Like some wills have that you cannot tell, blah, 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 blah. That's part of the will. The executor may not, blah.
I will say that the law office, is still closed today. And there was no, it was call and leave a message. So you would have to, go back to the station and look up where the guy lives, or at least call them and ask where he lives to visit him at home if you want to see him today.
I'd probably want to call them and get them to get his address, just in case it is in Yeovil. We could pop by.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. You call back to station.
I'd also ask if she was regularly getting these chocolates just randomly on her birthday.
Okay. You that's good. You ask, and she and between her and the receptionist, a couple of the other staff, like a couple of nurses, a couple of the vets, they tell you that a similar thing happened last year. It was a big bunch of flowers, like a big one, nice flowers, expensive flowers. Same story, just an old gentleman came in and said, "Oh, you looked after my cat, and this is for Doreen because she did a good job." And both times Doreen says, "I don't remember the thing, but that honestly happens quite a lot. People do send gifts, and it's not always the people you've seen." Yeah.
But it was on her birthday.
Yes.
Last year, but she doesn't think the year before.
Not the year before.
So possibly he only found out about this daughter of his
very recently,
in the last 2 years ago-ish, which is roughly when the same date that the will was changed, wasn't it, or updated?
Yes.
And
which is also roughly the same date that the mother died.
Yes.
Which I would suspect that there was a stipulation in the mother's will that maybe revealed this information.
That's my thinking.
Okay.
Oh.
You call through to the station. Oh, fuck it, let's do that. No, not going to do that one. You're on the phone for 10 minutes, and they're sort of looking up in the database, and they give you a home address. So, oh, by the way, detective, there's a package here for you.
Is there now?
Oi.
Oh, okay. Well, let me have a quick look.
We'd have to go back to the station.
Yeah, have to go
wouldn't we?
back to the station
There's
to.
a package here for me. Could you? Now I know normally I wouldn't ask this, but can you just have a little peek and tell me what's inside?
Um.
I was just thinking, boom.
I'm really fucking worried about that, but at the same time, I'm like,
At least we wouldn't be there at the time.
Well, honestly, it's ticking quite a lot. I don't want it to know.
Oh, it's all those clocks you ordered.
Yeah. You hear him sort of like flip open a Stanley knife and just sort of slice along the tape of the box.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's handy. It's a hand.
It's that, yeah. As soon as you said that's handy,
Now,
I knew what the fuck it was.
I think you'll find that that's our deceased victim's hand.
It's not bloody
unfortunately.
mine.
Well, I wouldn't suppose so unless you've lost one or
From
can
the
grow
prince.
another one.
Does it still have the ring?
Who does it? Is there a ring upon
big
the
gold
finger?
ring on it.
Big gold ring on it. So it wasn't stealing a ring. There's just something rather unusual.
Unless the hand was like, actively
There are
gripping
notes.
onto the person as they were running away.
And he was limb extensioning it halfway across the room. Well then, please put that hand and get that hand to the corner.
Don't stick it in the fridge. I think there's room now. We got rid of the cheese cake.
No, I wouldn't do that. Please take that to the corner as quick as you can.
Oh, right.
Thank you very much. Have it reunited with the body. Find out if you can you fingerprint that box and find out who
dropped it off?
Who dropped it off as well. See if anyone hand delivered it.
I haven't asked around. The sergeant doesn't know who dropped it off. But yeah.
Also, maybe we can try and figure out if the limb was, how the hand was removed. If we got the other half of the puzzle, maybe
certainly
they can try and figure that out.
Yeah, so we've already sent off for a powers analysis of the blood that we found.
Yes.
So maybe we'll find out if this guy has a limb extension. That's what happened. But
My thinking is limb
that's
extension to
certainly what
grab the
the hub would
guy,
know if it-
and then the guy died, but the limb was, he was just like stuck like that. So the guy had to like cut the hand off. So the murderer had to cut the hand off, and then run away, and eventually was able to pry the thing off. Ooh, yeah. Is it? Is the hand suffering some wear and tear?
It's got a bit of shit on it.
Bit of shit.
It's got a bit of shit on it, eh?
like fertilizer.
Compost.
So we've got a gardener on our hands of some kind. Well, then I think so. Doreen is she's not.
Did we know the name of the mother? Did we get the name of Doreen's mother?
You didn't ask. You can go back and ask. So I say you can revisit crime scenes as much as you want. Oh, not crime scenes. You can visit scenes.
We can also. I don't really want to bother her. It's like because it's going to be like time getting in there and getting back out again. Couldn't we just get someone at the station to look up who the mother was?
Sure. Yeah.
Like look up birth records and things.
Again, that'll be a clock goes on that, and then we'll get back to you and.
I'm fully expecting the mother to be named Petunia.
Possibly. Yeah. Cool. So you head over to the lawyer's home address. Okay. Yeah. It's in a village quite a bit to the south of the Oval, sort of maybe 20 minutes drive away.
It's no longer in Somerset then.
Yeah. Actually, no. Over the border. Yeah. Nice house. Really nice house. Like expensive. Whereas Webster's Cottage is small and pricey. This is large and pricey. You knock on the door and like a 4-year-old kid opens the door. The police.
Well, yes, we are, young man. I'm glad you have good object recognition. Now, is your father about?
No, I'm staying with Grandma and Grandpa.
Is your grandfather here?
Grandpa! He just screeches through the alley and it just goes. A tall, like formerly handsome, like not quite grown out of his handsomeness and age yet, man. That's the hello, I'm John Lasdow. Can I help you at all?
Mr. Lasdow, are you aware? Can I ask you a few questions before we get? I understand you are a lawyer, but I know that your interaction with the law have been mostly amicable. Can I ask you, where were you last night around bargain hunt time, if you know when that was.
No, I remember it well. I was watching it. Yes, I was here. Jacqueline was my wife was here. We were looking after the little ones that are points to the kid, and there's yes. So my granddaughter was unwell last night, so we were staying up. Go red team.
I see. So
How much did they win by?
300 or so.
Well,
Not a big armoire.
That's good enough for me. I have some unfortunate news. Your former partner, goddamn, I'm terrible with names.
Giles Webster.
Giles Webster. There it is. There's my name. Giles Webster. Unfortunately, he has passed, and unfortunately, it has been a most violent manner. And we need to ask a few questions about the nature of his time.
He looks proper body blowed by that. Like he's sort of. Oh, come in.
Yes. Perhaps we go somewhere away from the children so they don't hear
He
any
sort of he sort of has a word in the ear of his wife, and she takes the grandchildren out into the garden to paddling pool or something. He sort of brings you into the kitchen. It's got a big kitchen island, marble kitchen island in there, a really expensive fridge and stuff. And could I offer you tea?
Oh no, none from me. But my colleagues might like it. As you can tell, I'm.
I could do coffee if you prefer.
Oh,
Tea will be lovely, thank you.
Yeah, he sets a kettle on the stove, and then there's an espresso machine in the corner, and he just plugs a little incredibly wasteful plastic pod into it, and it starts pouring into a tiny cup. Yeah.
Oh, I do love those pods. They are destructive, and they always wash up on the shores of New Orleans. But
yes, as an environmental lawyer, you'd think I'd know better,
but damn it, they don't make a good cup of coffee.
I bought one of these for Giles.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
May I ask?
Yes, you may go.
How did he pass away? Was it?
Would you really like to know, or perhaps?
Do you suspect foul play, or was it self-inflicted, or?
Oh, we mostly expect foul play in this instance because of the nature of his end.
I should point out that. Don't know that's your accent. I should point out
my colleague here seems to be taking the piss.
Right, we're from the heightened investigation unit, or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yes.
There were powers involved in this case. Do you happen to know if Giles had any latent or hidden abilities?
Oh well, yes. He. Did you see the butterfly room?
Butterfly room?
Now that you think back to it, there were butterflies in portrait frames in one of the rooms in the house. It wasn't one of the ones you investigated.
Okay.
But it was in the downstairs loo. It was you sort of had a brief look in there, but now he mentions it, you remember it.
Okay.
Yes, he had a certain control over insects. He could make them. Yeah.
Oh.
So he's unlikely to have limb extension then.
No, that is interesting in of itself. How about yourself? Do you have any latent abilities?
No, I'm afraid not.
No. Well, it's a very small percentage of people that have it, so it doesn't make sense for everyone you meet to come across these things. But yes, due to the nature of his demise, we are investigating the possibility that we believe a powered individual is involved, at least at some level. It is interesting to say that Giles had powers. We are also concerned, we had a thread, a lead of some kind, that you changed his will for him 2 years ago. Do you know the nature of why he did that?
Yes.
I click empathy at this point.
Let me just check what the chart is. He's definitely at sad. He's
okay.
You see, yes, right, it is. I like the circle, but he's somewhere between sad and angry.
He's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in that region. It's not a little undefined, but yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Well, a couple of years ago, we had a letter to the firm from another legal firm, the executor of a will of a lady called Pamela Morrison, née Spencer, who informed Giles that he had a child from quite some time ago. I know he wanted to try and get to know her a little better, but he never got to find the courage, I suppose. And obviously Giles had no real family to speak of, and he was quite affected by the news. So yes, I was due to be the executor of the will.
Yes, we interviewed briefly Doreen just to find out what we assumed, because we found the will that she had known, or that she was somehow linked to the deceased. But when we discovered that she had no knowledge of this, we felt it best at the moment to not bring unwanted and unwarranted sad news at this time.
Well, of course, yes.
Yes. We are leaving that to you, unfortunately.
It's the least I can do is.
Yes.
Very good friend for a lot of years.
Well, yes, that is an interesting thing. The man has no pictures of anyone in his home, which is unusual, I grant you, but he has a garden with a lovely set of petunias in the center. Do you happen to know if those plants have a special significance for him?
I believe he mentioned the name Petunia at the time. It was the lady who passed away.
Ah, that's it then. Well, that makes a lot of sense then. There,
So,
well.
yeah, Petunia was probably the pet name for Pamela.
That's the inference you get.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
He's moved around to sort of sad reflective from sad depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Is there a reason they were so estranged?
I didn't pry, you understand. Giles wasn't an emotional man. You know, he was very focused on his accomplishments and less on the but yes, he I'm sorry. Yeah, he's sort of moved back to sad again. What was the question?
Is there a reason why him and Petunia sort of went their
Oh,
separate
right.
ways?
I didn't pry. I gather that it was something of a youthful dalliance. But he had no knowledge that he had a daughter until several years ago.
I see. So this Petunia, this Pamela Morrison never elected to tell him until the moment of her demise, which
I believe so.
That is fine and acceptable. Now, we also looking into Gerald Basin. I believe he's a contractor in a quarry of some kind. We're looking into him as
Mason.
well.
Yes, I recognize the name.
Yes. He's rather unusual. Do you happen to know? How was their relationship, if you want to call it that?
Well, he wasn't pleased, you understand, Mason. He had let a load of chemicals leach into the ground, and the county council enforced payment to clean it up, and it wasn't cheap. Yes.
No.
I can't imagine he was pleased. I wouldn't have thought it was a motive for murder, you understand.
No, not so. When was the charges actually? Because he's been retired for so many years.
About 3 years, 4 years. Sorry, possibly 3 years, 4 years.
Yes. Well, then, I do not think he would wait so long. You are friends with Giles? Is that correct? Then.
Yes, most certainly.
Yes. Then, do you happen to know? Did he take his hobby very seriously, the vegetable growing?
Oh, certainly, yes. Yes, he took many of his hobbies seriously, to be honest. Those were his joys.
Yes, and did he happen to tell you, who if you had any altercations with any past victories or past events or something of that nature.
I don't believe so. No.
Very
No.
well. Very well. That is most helpful. It sounds like this is most unusual. Most unusual indeed. You have been a great help. Do you have any questions, my colleagues? I think I'm running out of steam.
Nope.
In that case, I'll leave you to get back to your family for the day, and I believe to executoring the will that we've already spoke about. Thank you for your time.
Please, he goes to his wallet and pulls out a business card. It's very like same paper stock, same font, and everything. One. Please, my card if you need any more information.
Of course. We will be in touch. And if there's anything else you can think of, any other enemies or
I will let you know. Of course, yes.
Of course.
Yeah, hand over one of our cards to him.
Sure. Yeah. Puts it on the fridge. I think with a magnet.
Thank you kindly.
So as we're leaving, this man, our victim had powers to control insects, and as you have pointed out, he has the ability to potentially spray blood.
Yeah, blood spray is sort of a beam power, a blast power. Basically, you forcefully project your own blood. You spend health points to damage an enemy. With like blasting them backwards, you basically just vomit or spit blood at them.
Or fire attack you stump.
No, it's specifically from the alimentary tract.
From the what, sorry?
Mouth.
Ooh.
You vomit blood like a lizard. Yeah.
But like harden.
So he wouldn't be able to just blast his own hand off.
No. He wouldn't be able to fire his hand like a missile. No. Although that is aesthetics. Can I just say? Yeah. Okay. Next avenue of inquiry.
Ask the morgue techs.
Yes.
To check inside the mouth for blood.
Okay. They get back to you. This is a quick check. Mm-hmm. They tell you two things. Not only is there blood in the teeth, clot of blood in the trachea, in the esophagus, there is also evidence of the webbing power on the hand. The webbing power is being manifested at the point of death.
Ooh. So possibly the reason the hand was cut off was because he webbed someone and it was stuck to them.
No, web as in Spider-Man, it was stuck to something.
Ah.
Yeah. It's not... It's... Yeah.
So
how tight of a bond would it have been?
Reasonably. Like, you could pull it apart with your full strength, but yeah.
Okay, not so much that the only option was to take the hand off some other way through.
It's not like it's super glued permanent. It's not. It's not
like shit. The only way I can get this hand off is to cut his hand off.
It's not sovereign glue, but it's not like it's super glue. It's like super glue would be inappropriate.
Like, it's something that wouldn't be able to remove easily on the spot, but you can go away and get something to remove it with later. So the only way to get it off would have been to cut the hand off at that time, but then, yeah.
Okay,
but someone that cared enough to actually just mail the hand back to us anyway, rather than just discarding it.
Yes, that's a rather unusual thing.
That's the bit
could be an avenue of inquiry.
Yeah.
There is. So there is like they've tested some of the shit that was on it. Compost, vegetable compost. Like there's like potato residue on it.
I think Joshua Harper is our next port of call, the runner-up.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an easy one. Joshua Harper died 6 months ago of a stroke.
Okay.
This is one of the places where you could spend to get that information, and it wouldn't necessarily be a useful spend in the long run because if you had spent to get that information as opposed to having the uniforms do it, you would have spent a point to find out that a guy's dead.
Yeah.
I'm glad we just got the uniforms to try and search his details so we could go and find him. It's like, oh yes, his address is Graveyard.
Yeah, you probably passed his grave in the churchyard earlier. You just didn't notice it. Yeah, it's a very about 6 months ago died of a stroke. He was very old. Yeah.
Bollocks to that then. I think in that case, Jerry Mason.
Jared Mason. Yeah. You head over to the quarry. It's just a little way outside town. So to the east of the town, the road winds sort of past some horse fields and then lines up with an A road that goes north-south. And just the other side of that sort of T-junction, big chalk quarry. There's like big keep-out signs and barbed wire, razor wire fencing. It's quite an unfriendly place. And you sort of have to pull up, and there's a little box on a speaker box on a stick, and you press the button. What?
Or the heightened crimes unit, or whatever we're called.
HCIU, Heightened Crimes Investigation Unit. Well, you ready to be that? It's literally the bit in Hot Fuzz where you're going to have to be the translator in between. Or if anyone's got the translation power, you can also spend to...
I do, but I really don't want to spend it on this.
I've implied that my guy's a local country boy.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah,
I'd like to just be able to translate for free.
Yes, I suppose. So you he buzzes you in, and he sort of greets you, and he's got like a breech loading shotgun sort of over the arm, empty.
Yeah. Has he been trimming hedgerows that don't belong to him?
Not quite, but he's very much of the ilk. Yeah. He says, "Are you here to investigate that burglary we had then?"
Possibly.
You here to investigate that burglary we had then?
Got that. That's what I was sort of saying. Possibly something related.
About bloody time. About bloody time.
I got that too.
So he points you down. There's some chemical sheds sort of built into the cliffside. And you can if you don't want to speak to the guy, or some of you want to speak to him, or you can.
Well, I'll ask him if he knows exactly what was taken.
Look at the manifest. And he hands you like a clipboard with it's thick with paper. Like there's months and months of deliveries on there. It's probably going to take quite a while to go through, or you could use a point of textual analysis. Okay, you start going through the accounts. Brilliant. So you have a look at the sheds. It looks like the padlock, is still lying there broken. It was sort of like hit with something heavy, which has broken the padlock open. According to the manifest, it looks like the thing that is missing is a couple of sacks of an iron-based sort of salt, like something rich in Fe2 plus ions.
Does that match any of the residue from the?
Yes.
From the
fertilizer. So this is the one thing on there that wasn't fertilizer. You could make a chemistry spend if you want to here.
Sure.
Okay. This is looking at it. You've got the cognition power, so you're a real smart cookie anyway. And you look through it and look at the chemical formulas of things that are on there, and you know some of the chemicals from using them for CSI shit. This is definitely a chemical that it's odorless, colorless, not very readily available. You couldn't order it off the internet and not be scrutinized for it, for example.
With his chemistry spend, do we know what uses it has?
It's used in I'm going to say protecting mining tools. So it'd be like you'd rub it on like weather coating for equipment for outdoor machinery.
And this was only in place on the threatening letter.
This was one of the chemicals in the fingerprint on the letter.
But it's not a substance that we've encountered anywhere else yet.
No, not that you've seen.
Not that we've... Okay.
But that we've checked for, basically, right?
Yeah, basically. Don't want to signpost it too much, but yeah, basically. Let's have a look at the.
Don't suppose this guy's like walking with a limp or anything, is he?
He doesn't appear to be. No, he's
Somebody
coughing
got-
like he's got some kind of lung condition, to be honest. But he's not.
I want to call the station back and say, can you go check the local hospital, see if anyone's coming with some interesting injuries after being walloped by something.
Yeah, they can go away and do that. Certainly.
Well, I don't think this man. Can I talk to the man? Oh God.
I will translate, but I'll do it out of
Thank you.
character.
That's fine.
I'd also, but whilst I'm translating, I'd also like to just see if he's got like, maybe some like dried blood that he didn't quite manage to wash out of his hair or something.
Evidence collection. Not that you can see. Evidence collection spend, to be sure.
I have nothing left to spend.
Not that you can see.
I'll spend it.
No, he doesn't have any blood on him. You know the smell of blood. You're a CSI guy. You've been around enough blood to know that it leaves that sort of tacky iron scent.
More subtle than just spraying the Lumisol from the Ace Attorney games on him.
Luminol. Luminol is absolutely a thing that you have in your kit. If you wanted to try and spritz him, you can.
Well, sir, I know that our PCs have already been by here to ask you about the untimely death of God damn it! Why do I have this terrible?
Charles
name?
Webster.
Thank you, Mr. Webster.
Okay.
I don't know why that
Maybe
name
just
escapes me.
circle that name maybe
Absolutely
on
fine.
your notes.
Yeah, where's Mr. Webster? There's okay, yeah, Charles Webster. Mr. Webster, I know that you have, we've already told you about the unfortunate passing of Mr. Webster, and and I know that you are not exactly broken up about that given the amount of cost and expenditure he made you incur.
And blame near ruined me.
Well, I mean, one could argue that your flagrant disregard for the environmental impacts of your quarry here is what nearly ruined you, but I'll not split hairs.
I'm not going to ask you for a forensic psychology spend to notice he's giving you proper stink eye.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Well,
no spend required.
yeah. Now,
I don't know, because I'm not made of eyes.
Now, I know that there was no love lost between you, but I also understand you have a rock solid alibi, having watched Bargain Hunt with the red team winning last night in a very specific dollar amount. Tell me, sir, do you happen to have any employees who might be willing to, when this occurred, did you have to let go of any employees?
Yeah, there were a few.
Have you kept in touch with these employees as your company has recovered and perhaps rehired some of them and not rehired others?
A couple of them, I suppose, yeah.
Which ones haven't you rehired?
Yeah, he'll give you a list of sort of half a dozen names.
Now, I know that it's not an employer's business or perhaps their prerogative, but do you happen to know that any of these, to point to some of the employees, had any powers that you knew of?
No.
Very well, thank you, sir. You've been most helpful.
A 1 point anamorphology spend is on the table.
I don't have any of that.
Spent.
Yeah. He is wearing big ass thick gloves. And you can see around the room there are various little bleach spots. Like if you drop something caustic. Dead giveaway, he has the secrete acid power.
Okay.
To the diagram.
So much of this game is to the diagram.
Everyone to the diagram. All right.
Secrete acidness, spit acid, analytic taste, venom, bite. Was it correlated to blade immunity? Interesting.
Yeah, but nothing that would.
No. Go back to the crime scene and check for more bleach spots.
You certainly can go and check for things at the crime scene.
Yeah. Interesting to see how he died from the plant, though. Well, you've been most helpful, and I know you don't. I know you don't have to answer this, but what powers, if any, do you have, sir?
He just he like takes off one of these gloves and holds up like a ceramic mug and just sort of.
Well, the acid secretion power that is most helpful.
Bloody pain in the arse, that is.
Well,
Can I spend a point of threat analysis, a threat calculus, to work out if he's or a bark and no bite?
Yeah, no, that's a perfectly viable threat calculus spend, yeah. So you sort of tap in again to your subconscious and your limbic system, the bit that deals with, am I in danger? Do I need to fight or flight? He's grumpy. He's probably not dangerous, at least not to you guys. I mean, you guys have annoyed him, but you haven't mortally offended him. And it looks like if he was going to do anything to you, you'd probably do it with a shotgun.
Yeah. Yes, it's not really.
Ballistic spend. 1 point is on the table if anyone wants it.
So we find out the shotgun was recently fired.
What?
I've got it.
Hang on. Yeah, I don't have any ballistics.
I don't either.
Ben.
It looks like it's loaded with rock salt cartridges.
Oh.
So it would be non-lethal. It would fucking hurt, but it wouldn't.
It would really fucking hurt.
Yeah. But it's not the same as having lead put through you.
That's true. That's true. I think a couple of my redneck friends over in Texas used to say, if I like the boyfriend, he gets the rock salt. If I don't like him, he gets the lead. Yeah, he was fucking dead serious as well.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Not a hint of humor in that, man. I was like, I'm not dating your daughter, so I'm fine.
I will leave you do that, sir, because I do not wish to express an opinion.
So thank you for your time. You were most helpful. And I think...
Oh, a gate on your way out.
Oh, of course, sir. Of course, sir. Perhaps we could dust for fingerprints on the shack before we go and get a... Have you left it alone since the break-in, or if you allowed other people inside?
Well, it's sort of you can see it from the road, so I mean, a big gate and everything. So yeah, people have relatively free access if they are inside the compound.
Right.
But there are big gates, big locked gates, razor wire. He doesn't like people getting in here, hence the.
Yeah. But we can
dust for prints.
We can link the fingerprints from this location to the fingerprints from the letter and a few other. Yeah. So we'll try that.
I'm gonna say 1 point fingerprint spend, or you can send constables back to it later.
We'll send the call unless somebody wants to.
I've got. Let's do it. I mean,
well.
I'm looking at the time and going, I might well start burning some of these points.
Okay. Your dust prints. There are some that are decidedly acid-flecked, which are probably his. There don't appear to be any that match any of the ones that you've seen so far.
So possibly not him, but maybe one of his employees that was let go.
Possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
where would you like to go?
And no correlation to any of these prints of the box that the hand was delivered in yet?
No.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
All I can think of is see if the daughter has gills.
I mean, it's as good as any.
You can go and revisit crime scenes. You also have 2 uses of the cognition power if you wish to test hypotheses.
Don't have a hypothesis.
Don't have a hypothesis, no.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the anamorphology test on the blood came back. The victim had at least 1 rank in the commander insects, blood spray, and webbing powers.
Ooh, does my callback on the hospital find anything?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Anyone?
What other clocks are we waiting on? Just to remind ourselves what things we've still got.
That's it for now.
Okay.
Anyone who was at the crime scene, anyone there got blood just in? No.
The open avenues of investigation that I see that you have are revisiting the murder scene, revisiting any of the scenes you've seen, visiting people, or trying to find out where the hand came from.
I mean,
The
we're
box
still
was
waiting.
dropped off anonymously.
It wasn't like done through a DPD delivery or something.
Nope.
Hand delivered.
Closed cardboard box, like bog standard, like sellotaped up, and just popped on the steps of the police station.
Surely we've
The
got
police station must have
a
CCTV.
security cameras or something. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they do. Yeah,
So
you can-
even if we can't see the person, or if the person was disguised or whatever, we could see where they came from, where they went, if they were in a vehicle or whatnot.
Yes, yeah, actually, yeah, that's completely free of spends as well, because that's your jobs and your place of work. So yes, yeah, you have a look through, and it looks like it was dropped off by an older woman wearing a sort of green, long waterproof coat. She came from the east side of town.
Is that where the hall and the murder scene is?
It's honestly more towards where the victim lived.
Okay.
That end of town.
Do we know who his gardener was?
Who his
Well, the
gardener
cleaner.
was? The cleaner.
The cleaner.
She yes, I can't remember what name I gave her. But she is not.
Well, if our GM's not named her, then
Yeah.
There's a bit of metagaming there, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to mitigate that. Yeah, she's not in town, and she has a rock solid alibi.
Okay.
Yeah.
His neighbour was David Crumper.
Crumper.
Does David have a wife? How
No.
old are they? No. Okay.
David Crumper is born the same year as the victim, actually, 51.
This older do we get to see the face of the older lady?
I will say with a point spend of streetwise of.
I'll spend a point of streetwise.
Yeah, you can ask around the village and say, "Oh, that's Hilda up on Mill Lane." Yeah, then she'll point out and give you the address.
Fucking straight there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
We have, but we have no motive, and no idea why she's done this.
these
Okay.
things all happen in the last 5 minutes. It's fine.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, the resolution always happens in the last quarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go there, and yeah, basically there is an old woman who lives there who found the hand in her compost heap. It was just sitting there on the top of the compost heap this morning when she woke up, and she thought, "Oh, I better get back to the police," and did so, but didn't really want to get I'm expediting for time. But this is what you discover through the didn't really want to get involved, but thought the police should have it.
Okay. Investigate the compost heap. Anything of interest there?
Do you have any evidence collection spends left?
I have one.
You have one. You want to use it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. You look around the compost heap. There's no evidence that anyone has been here. However, there is a footpath that runs along the sides of the playing fields, just over the hedge from this garden.
Follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow.
This footpath runs right along the length of the village. You can see there are innumerable footprints, bike tracks. So someone walking along here at some point last night, it looks like just yeeted the hand over the hedge.
Okay, we could walk here from the murder scene.
It's
along this footpath.
It's 100 meters away.
Okay.
You are about 100 meters almost exactly from the murder scene, and probably about a quarter mile from the victim's house down the other end.
Were there any significant locations between here and the victim's house along this path?
Not that you've seen.
If you went from the village hall to the victim's house, would you go past this lady's house where the hand was found?
Yes, definitely.
The neighbor.
Let's go.
Yeah, speak to David Crumper.
Okay. You get there. Yeah, same. It's almost like a mirror cottage of the other, but it is beat up. It's not in a particularly good. The paint's peeling. I mean, there's dishes everywhere. Kind of the polar opposite.
Yeah.
And you go and he goes, oh, right.
Mr. Crumper. I activate empathy.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Let's have a look at the chart.
Can I ask you a few questions about your whereabouts last night?
Oh, yeah.
Were you watching the television last night?
Bargain hunt.
No, don't tell him bargain hunt. Wait.
No, that was out of character. That's why I didn't use the accent.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see it's another one that's kind of like, did you happen to see Antiques Roadshow last night?
Yeah, on at 8 o'clock, wasn't it? Yeah, it was on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, because it was 11 was the other one was on. Yeah, okay. All right. Did you happen to see
Cash and Attic After Dark?
Bargain Hunt After Dark, yeah. Did you happen to? I'm just trying to ascertain were you here the entire evening?
Aye.
Oh, you were. Did you? I know this is going to be a strange question, but do you happen to know how much the blue team won on Bargain Hunt?
I love that this is how this investigation ends.
Well, I was going to go out the back and check to see if the hedgerows had been trimmed a little bit.
Sure.
Along the victim's side.
I would say, I think I fell asleep before it ended.
Fell asleep.
I bought one of those big wardrobes.
That is.
Yeah, that lines up with what someone else said.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Is he? Where is he sitting in the empathy thing?
Anxious.
Oh, can I see anything on him that would indicate that he's injured?
Not injured, no.
Does he smell a little bit bloody?
No.
No copper smell in the air.
What's going to be the right kind of spend? I just realised I haven't made you use a single general ability, because it hasn't come up. I mean, generally you could just do the investigation skills for this game. Yeah. Chemistry, evidence collection, fingerprinting, even.
I've got evidence collection. How?
Yeah, he has fertilizer residue on his fingertips.
Now, can I ask you your relationship to your neighbor?
No, the neighbor didn't know him that well.
So he's still only anxious?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well. Now, I look around the home here, and it appears that in some amount of disrepair. Now, can I ascertain as to you're a gardener from your hands, I can tell.
Aye.
Did you happen to enter into the contest that's just down the road in the village hall?
No.
Why not?
I had a problem in my garden this year.
Oh, did you? So now, what was that problem?
And pests.
Oh, pests. What kind of pests?
Pests eating the plants.
Insects, by chance, of some kind.
I know. Could have been mice.
Mice, you say. Well, may I ask another question? We are currently interested in looking for a powered individual who might be able to help us with a bit of irrigation work. Do you happen to know anyone who has any water manipulation powers?
Ooh, okay, I'm going to tell you two things here. Firstly, he's going to say no, and then his emotional state shifts towards curious.
I see, okay. Which is like, I'm lying to you.
Can I spend on the bullshit detector?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I've spent on the bullshit detector.
Okay, he's not telling the whole truth, but he's not lying. It's more like lying by omission. That's what you get with 1 point on bullshit detector. You can spend more if you want.
Oh yeah, no, I'll spend both my points on bullshit detector.
The 2 points. He was almost relieved when you talked about water manipulation.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just a little. Just you probably got a little of that of empathy as well, but with the 2 points, yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't.
Is there a way to tell? Is there a way to like?
I need to catch him in a lie, but I don't exactly know how.
I will point out that while you are talking to him, the other two are free to move about. And
okay, yeah. No, I'm going to go out and check out the garden.
Okay.
So, just for being genre savvy, does it look like either he or his neighbour have been trimming hedgerows that don't belong to them?
There is, if hedgerows have been trimmed, there is no evidence to who trimmed them or with what malice aforethought.
Okay. And the state of the things in the garden.
Okay. What are you expecting to find?
Well, from what he said, pests that have eaten some of his stuff.
Okay. You find, vegetable garden very much overtaken by pest insects. Yeah. There's no evidence that it's to a heightened level, but yeah, more than any other garden you've seen. They're not like forming little patterns and like work crews to like decimate it, but yeah, it's certainly looking a little less healthy. Anything else you're expecting to find?
The way that you're asking that makes me think that I should be.
Rich,
could I spend a point in trivia to figure out what it is you're trying to hint at?
Not really. That's not what trivia's for.
No, I figured, but.
Rich, what is Nigel doing at this point?
I think I'd be looking around. I don't mean the garden yet. I'd be looking in the house, like picking up things off the mantelpiece, like looking at the mantelpiece, looking at like any letters that are lying around, like just looking.
Okay. I'll offer you a 2-point spend from cognition. No, 3-point spend from cognition. This will not be a fact confirming one. This is a separate one.
Sure.
Okay, you are going through sort of on the mantelpiece and picking up various things, and you go to side table. You just generally rudely poking around. I mean,
yeah.
But you see a like a big heavy flashlight, not like a little torch, like a big mag light torch. Not unusual in the country. People need to see in the dark, but it has a nick on like the base of it, like it's been used to hit something heavy. And that sparks in your brain as if you have seen the reverse pattern somewhere recently.
Something heavy.
Would they have been used on the lock in the?
Now that you mention it, yes. Warm. Yeah, it looks like this could have been used recently to break a padlock.
Does he have a green a shed or a?
Go outside and check. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they are moving towards the garden, Brad, you note that his demeanor changes back more towards anxious. Yeah.
Ooh, is there recently disturbed earth?
There's no recently disturbed earth.
Okay.
You do know that you can see across the footpath that the hand got thrown from literally runs by the back gate.
Can I check the handle leading into his garden for blood residue?
Yes. Do you have an evidence collection spend?
Nope.
There's nothing you can see. No.
Okay. I don't suppose we can just use the luminol.
There actually isn't. There. Yeah, you use the luminol. You take a little bit of time, but yeah, there is actually no blood residue.
So this happened last night, this morning. Does this guy look like he's recently showered and the clothes look very new?
They look fresh. Yeah, they'll put on today.
Yeah.
Incongruous compared to the
rest of the house. Yeah.
Fuck me. I said something completely wrong to you, which I will. There is some freshly disturbed earth. I made an error, and I'm willing to correct that.
That's fine.
Yes, of course there is, because that's yeah.
He's an anxious.
Well, while Brad's distracting him, could I re-disturb the earth?
Yeah. Okay. So there's like shovels and this is a garden. This is a gardener's garden, so there's shovels and everything everywhere. You're digging by like a pumpkin patch.
Pumpkin patch, you say?
There's a pumpkin patch here. The pumpkins are mostly rotty. There are a few that are in better nick. And you dig down maybe like 6 inches. There's nothing there.
I'm thinking this is where the pumpkin came from.
Possibly.
Maybe.
It's possible.
So,
yeah.
I want to ask him.
Sure.
Now, I see. Now I've had a look back at your garden. It looks very lovely, and I'm wondering, even with all the insects and everything else attacking it, you still seem to have quite a lovely garden. What is your secret? I must know for my begonias back home.
Grow begonias. Yeah, he sort of gestures out to the front garden where the flower garden is in the front.
Mhm.
There's no begonias out there.
Oh, I'm talking about my begonias. I see you have a lovely set of flowers here. I want to know how to make mine as lovely as these are.
Do you have a natural history spend to make?
I do.
Would you like to make it?
Yes.
The flower garden does not have begonias.
Yeah.
It does have other flowers that you've seen recently.
Petunias?
Petunias? That's weird. I see you have some lovely petunias here. Now, I know your neighbor was quite fond of them. He placed them in the...
Strong swing from anxious to disgusted.
He was quite happy with them.
Ooh.
Now I will say...
Disgusted to angry.
Good, that's where I'm going. I will say, though, that yours look far more lovely.
Swing's depressed?
Oh,
Did you say depressed?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually, yeah.
now, I don't know if you have heard of any of this. And when I'm trying to, I want to just put a hand on his shoulder to use empathy and push him into reflective.
Okay. I think that's a
Not
test.
empathy, emotion. Was it emotion control? Yeah, it's emotion control.
Yeah, that's definitely a test.
So 2, 1, 2, 2 spaces. So 4. I may as well spend 3.
Yep.
And then I'll just auto succeed.
Auto succeed. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Well within the rules.
And as I'm like, I haven't heard that he has passed away, and we are looking for his murderer, and we're hoping that they will confess and come to us. It does not seem like he's in reflective. I'm trying to just nudge him right into there.
He actually gets a check to resist emotion control.
Oh.
The other woman didn't resist. I am just gonna.
Yeah, that's fine. Given what I'm trying to get him to do.
Okay. What did you roll?
Oh, I haven't rolled yet, so I should get
Okay,
to roll.
so you
So
need to roll.
RRDs. A 6.
Oh,
Plus 3, didn't you say you spent to make it
Yeah.
a 9?
Yeah,
Okay. So he added a lot more points, but he rolled a lot less. So yeah, he is pushed into what did we trying to get into?
Reflective.
Reflective.
I feel like that's the bit. That's bit where you would be like,
That's the sweet spot where it's like, maybe I should confess.
yeah, that's the sweet spot.
Okay. You push him into reflective, and yeah, you can see the sort of the rosy lenses of reminiscence over his face.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say anything.
That's interesting.
It's difficult to get people to confess with that power, is the thing.
It is, yeah. He's in the right state for it, but you need to get it. You say the right words.
Right. Yeah, I had a lot of Petunias. Tricks in the fertilizer.
The trick's in the fertilizer. Now I know that this is going to be a hard thing for you to hear, and I know that his passing, your neighbor's passing, is quite terrible, and the way and where he's come from, and all of the bad blood that seems to be between the two of you for whatever reason. There seems to be some level of animosity there, and I know that somebody who regards those same flowers that both of you love in such a way that you would want
I love this. Carry on.
You would want that person who inflicted such pain upon this poor man to confess and to come forward for himself.
He's looking at it, and he's really having sort of an internal emotional battle because
Yeah.
For no reason that you know. He's sort of
But I suspect
he's sort of reminiscing off the side, and he looks at you, and then he sort of has a bit of a he's like, I'll let you know what you think. Anything you want to help your friends in the garden?
Well, I don't want to.
Or it could be on your way.
Well, I will go look at your lovely garden and find out if there's anything that I can help them with. Do you mind? Of course. Thank you. So I'll go out to the garden and I'll speak to them quietly. I tried. I believe that is all man based on the various powers that we've seen represented. The only thing I do not know is whether this individual is powered himself or not.
Is it possible that the plant itself was powered?
Oh, that is a dynamite question.
That's so. I have not.
Plants cannot have mutations.
Okay.
Only humans have been observed, and one gorilla. Only humans have been observed. No, I made that up.
Gorilla.
That's not true.
That feels right. I mean,
sure, no, fuck it. I'm the GM. Yes, that's true. Humans and one gorilla have been shown to display powers.
okay. Jesus.
Ryan, have you carried on digging in the same place, or have you?
I might have carried on digging in the same place for a bit. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of disturbed earth, goes quite deep down, but if you want to be digging any further than you have done, you'll need like a backhoe. Like there's a lot of like looser earth, like maybe it's been like rotivated or something, or like turned over, but it's deeper than you would think that a garden would go.
Interesting.
Is there like a mole man type power?
Sorry?
Is there like a tunneling under the earth type power?
You can find that out for yourself, or you can spend a point of anamorphology and I can tell you.
I'm just spending a point so I don't have to look at this diagram.
Yes, no, literally that is the point.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose telekinesis could do it.
Yeah.
I suppose you could make a force field that just sliced an arm off, or sliced a hand off. There's Earth control up there as well, E6.
Ah, where's that?
Earth control is an E6.
Magnetism, Earth control, spatial awareness, teleportation, telekinesis, force field, night vision, microvision, telescopic vision, olfactory center.
I mean, there is like a way for him to do what he did in terms of if you had Earth control and telekinesis.
But Earth control is distinct from plant control. Something within the plant move, not the Earth itself.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can think of is, what is in a plant? There is water.
Yeah.
There are the plant itself.
Yeah.
Nutrients.
What nutrients? Magnetism.
Iron.
Yeah, the iron put onto the plant, and he was able to use the metal, mix the metal with his fertilizer to
make a highly iron enriched pumpkin,
which he could then magnetize to go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point out my screen froze. Ryan froze for me while making this face, and I'm really pleased with it. It's like, yes, I did a good job. Yes, good.
That was the penny drop moment. Yes.
So we all realize this. We all say like, oh, well then.
You hear a Ford Fiesta screech off out the front.
I'm going to speed after that Ford Fiesta.
Excellent. Okay, make me a speed test.
Guess we all climb in the car and run after him. Yeah.
I'm on foot.
Okay.
Yeah, make me a speed test. How many points do you want to spend? I'm going to say to catch up with a shitty Ford Fiesta is DC 5.
A DC 5. In that case, I'll spend 4, so I definitely do it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, you are now running alongside a Ford Fiesta doing 90 in a 30. Okay. What's your to hit threshold?
Oh fuck! My hit threshold is 4.
Okay, so he is going to spend 5 points of Earth Control. Could you make me an athletics spend? Well, no, you make an athletics check to try and dodge what's happening. And you can add as many points of your athletics to it as you want.
Do I know what the DC is?
No, this is a test, not a...
Oh, okay.
This is a contest, so you don't know how beforehand.
In that case, I am going to spend 4.
Okay.
Roll a d6.
Oh. How do I roll? Is it forward slash?
Yeah, forward slash RD6. Yeah. R space D6, sorry.
Oh, space D6. Okay, there we go.
I use the little panel. Sorry.
7.
Okay. With spending all of his remaining points of Earth Control for the day and rolling a 6, a massive pillar of like a wall of Earth rockets up in front of you, and you're going to be hitting it at quite some speed.
Could I try and jump over it?
Yes.
I'm going to use gravity control.
Excellent.
To allow me to leap over it.
Okay, cool. The gravity control does have specific limits. How much do you weigh? Does your character weigh?
Average human weight.
Cool. So like 90 kilos,
I guess.
Gravity control. You can do that with an 8-point spend of gravity control.
I will spend 8 points of gravity control.
Yeah, and you get there, and then gravity just stops affecting you, and the rotation of the Earth just flings you upwards, and then you come back down again, running alongside.
I am going to
Arthur. Sorry, go. Arthur and Nigel, you've reached the car at this point. Like, there's a guy doing 90 with a 15-second head start and a superhumanly quick man. You guys have reached the car, so what do you?
We're gonna get in the car.
Yeah.
He's after him.
Yeah.
What's the range on technokinesis?
That's a dynamite question.
I'm planning on trying to short out the engine using lightning.
Whoever is driving, could you make me a driving test? I'm going to say the DC is sort of variable depending on how well you do. Is how much ground you cover all day, how much gain can you gain or not?
How good are you at driving?
I'm a 5.
Okay, you're better than me.
Okay, so what do you need?
You spend a number of points and then roll a d6.
Okay, you must be touching a machine to activate technokinesis.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What?
So you make a drive test. So you decide on a number of points you want to spend, and you roll a d6.
And the result is how much ground we've covered. Or...
Yeah. So like, if you if you roll like a 1 and don't add any points, then you're going to sort of stall as you get out. Like a 2, you're going to be just like pootling along at like 15 miles an hour. If you want to do some crazy evasive driving and like get around the cyclists and like J-turn and then try and catch up, that's going to be like a 9.
How good's our car?
It's pretty good. I mean,
could I use technokinesis on our own car to sort of get it
juice
into
it?
Juice it up a little.
I will fucking allow it because that's cool as hell. You're just like speaking to the spirit of the car, and it's like fly like the wind. Yes, absolutely. Make a technokinesis test. Make a technokinesis and a driving test, please. Technokinesis, I'm going to say, is DC 4.
Let's put 3 points in and get that.
Cool. Okay. You are. This car will run at maximum efficiency for you for the rest of this scene, as it were.
Cool. And you still want a driving?
I still want a driving test. That is for actually steering the car, because you can make the engine go, but not hitting the cyclists or the kids on the way to school. Not this Sunday, kids on the Sunday school.
Do you have a number to beat, or is it just?
I say this.
So can I make this easier for him in terms of the cyclist? Can I use endorphin control others to just make everyone terrified of the car as it comes screaming by, and then just go?
I don't believe so, but there is something you can do with endorphin control, which I think is you can choose Rich to give him extra points to spend on a check.
You'll forgive me later.
Like an adrenaline shot to the thigh. Everything goes into bullet time for you. You need to make a stability test, I think. Equal to the number of points that... let me just double check this. Endorphin control level.
You'll be fine.
So we turned the simple driving test.
Most people only pass out for an hour.
No, sorry. You, Brad, you make an endorphin control test. How much is your health, Rich?
6.
Okay, so you make an endorphin control test, difficulty 3, Brad.
Oh, difficulty 3. Okay, so I will spend 2 points.
Yep, that's fine. And then you can spend any amount, but Rich, you gain stability and health equal to the spend that Brad made.
So I get 2 on stability and...
Yeah, you get 2 bonus health and stability points added to your total.
Okay.
So stability is like your saving throw, basically.
Okay.
So if you have to swerve at the last minute, that's going to be really convenient. Okay, you gun it. So yeah, could I have your drive test, please?
Let's say 2 points into driving then, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so D6 plus 2. Okay, yeah, so you whack the blues and 2s on, and you're screaming off. I mean, you're not gaining because, this guy has, you may be gaining, but slowly. And Dan obviously can run at, slightly subsonic speeds. So you're going to get there. You have to, could you make me a stability test, DC 5, to swerve around the earth wall that suddenly manifests in the middle of the road?
I will spend 4 points, of which 2 are the ones that Brad has just given me.
Absolutely fine. Yeah, then you mount the pavement. You sort of go up on 2 wheels for a second. The bass and the drums are thundering in the soundtrack as you swerve around a corner. You handbrake turn around a corner at the shop, and you can just see a bunch of old folks queuing up for their paper. Go, bloody hell. Okay, we are back to you acted first. So he carries on driving. Dan, what would you like to do?
I would like to threaten him with the power of 1 billion suns.
Okay, with what particular
lightning?
Excellent. Okay, so you are going to make a blast power check. So the hit threshold on a car is going to be, I would say.
Well, first of all, I'm going to hold a miniature sun made of lightning in my hand, saying, "Pull over." And if he doesn't pull over, then I'm going to attempt to kill his engine.
Excellent, and possibly him. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give him cover for this. So how many points of lightning do you want to spend? Bear in mind that this will be added to all damage for whoever you hit.
Ooh. Does cover provide him with some protection from damage?
Yes, but lightning is extra good at getting everything in the line. That's the lightning power.
Well, I'm aiming for the engine block.
Yeah, the engine block is sort of between. He is between you and the engine block, if slightly to the side in the passengers in the driver's seat on the left, but not on the right. So, what are you thinking?
I don't want to put all 8 in. I mean, I want to put all 8 in, but I don't want to put all 8 in.
For reference to the rest of the rest of the table, the maximum spend on lightning is 32. Yeah.
I'll put 4 in.
4. Okay. So you need to first of all make a blast power check. So you roll your d6 and add 4. And to hit, you need to get over the hit threshold of the car.
Do I know what the hit threshold of a car is? I would have experimented with this, probably, in my training.
I'm going to call it 5. I'll tell you these. I'm going to call it 5.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to spend... Oh, wait, no. The hit threshold, I just need to meet it, right?
You need to meet it or beat it, yeah.
Okay, in that case, yeah.
That's a bit.
That's chunky.
That's...
Okay, so he is going to make a dodge roll. He is going to make an athletics spend. No, he's going to make a driving check. He doesn't have great. He's going to spend 3 points of driving. He can't make it. He tries to spend 3 points of driving. He rolls a 5. He spends all of his driving points, and I just.
Well, the 8 just takes that down to like 2 damage, right?
No, it doesn't reduce. This is to dodge the power.
Oh.
So 10 points of lightning goes through the car. I am just going to double check. There is a. Oh, fine. I'll do it narratively. Yeah. So he. You see this bolt of blue lightning just course down the road out of your outstretched palm, arcing off like mailboxes and a lamppost, and it just zips straight through the car. And you hear bloody hell, and the car like veers off the road and flips into a ditch and turns over a couple of times. And you've actually landed, like this chase has got you to just outside the village hall. And you see Detective Cooper just standing there. Well, that is going to incur a considerable amount of paperwork. Okay. Yeah. You guys, handbrake turn up. You sort of bring the driver's side door up to where the car is wrecked. And I'm not going to ask you to make spend or anything. You pull the guy out. He is singed, not going to lie. He's taken 4 points of lightning damage.
That's enough to stun him, right?
He has a health of 6. But I'm glad
I didn't put 8 points into lightning.
Yeah. You can definitely arrest him for evading arrest and dangerous driving and a number of other crimes.
But also suspicion of murder.
And on suspicion of murder. So what I need from you: means, motive, opportunity.
Well, opportunity is the plant.
Yeah.
Also, means
is also the plant.
Because he's got the metal. He used the metal from the storage shed.
Yeah.
Into the fertilizer, which then went into the plant, which he was then able to use magnetism to cause the plant to attack the guy.
Yeah.
Motive is because the other guy was screwing up he thought the other guy was screwing up his plants and killing his things with his insect power, which he somehow knew of. But there's something weird about that, because it's like there's something about the emotional connection to petunias.
They both loved the same woman. I reckon they both went to school together because they're the same age.
Yeah.
And they went to school with Petunia, or Penelope was her actual name, wasn't it? Pamela.
Yeah.
The defense in court, you're testifying this in court, raise one question: how did his hand get cut off? You've given no evidence that my client had the ability or motive to remove the victim's hand.
Can we...
The victim had developed the spider power, the web power.
Webbing. Yeah.
He was stuck to him, and Mabel Thatcher was coming in the room at the time that he was attempting to murder the client. How did he remove the fucking hand, though?
We can't to get a blade to go really fast.
We know that so we would have been able to get the guy tested for what powers he has, right?
No, that you are not allowed to do that under the law. You have to build the case. So, for example, that guy who had the public indecency with the flight, he might have had regeneration and strength as well, but the only one that's in his system is flight because it was used as evidence.
Can I spend the rest of my cognition to try at least get a hint as to whether he used his powers to cut off the hand?
Okay, 3 points spent from cognition.
Yep.
Your hypothesis...
Rather than that, ask if he used his magnetism power, because we know he's got magnetism and earth control. He showed those two. He's not shown any others, so this is like a binary check.
Okay, so what is your
But it's also close to force field, so you could put a force field directly through his hand, right?
Or he could have teleported and it took the hand off.
But I think he would have used force field if he had any left when I threw a lightning bolt at him.
Probably would have, yeah.
And he would have teleported if he had any of that left either.
And he hadn't used those at all, as far as we're aware.
It is still the same day.
I was going to say, it's like
Ooh,
it depletes it, right?
Yeah.
does
So
deplete it.
he could have found either teleportation or force field, and because he couldn't use them.
Okay, well, you could ask if he used magnetism or earth control, and if it isn't one of those, then we know he has a third
It's not
power.
really a yes or no. It is a you tell me what happened and I give you a hot, cold, freezing, warm, whatever.
So the cognition would be something like.
I mean, he couldn't just rip the hand off using magnetism with the blood, could he?
Let's go. What do we know? What did because we had the hand, we had the body. What forensically do we know at this point about the cut? Because we did ask the tech labs to compare both the hand and the body to see.
Yeah, it was severed utterly perfectly.
Utterly perfectly. What can sever things utterly
There are
perfectly?
no kerf marks. There are no hesitation marks, striations on the bone. This was cut on a molecular level.
So
To me, that sounds like a force field.
That does sound like a force field. Could a force field do that?
If you want to spend your cognition,
yeah, I'm going to use my cognition to do that.
you are hot. You're not boiling with you're sitting there. You're waiting to be called as a witness in the courtroom.
Could be telekinesis, Silas style. Thump.
You're waiting you're waiting to be called a witness. Your supermind is ticking away, and you're thinking specifically like force field and telekinesis. Your subconscious mind thinks you're definitely close, but there's just something that doesn't sort of fit right.
Teleportation, because the hand was stuck to him.
Did it just go with him?
It would possibly just go with him. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because there's a force field.
Oh God! And the woman didn't see anyone else in there. She would have seen the guy running out, so he must have teleported away.
But he didn't know what he was doing because it's the first time he ever manifested it. So he just popped wherever he thought he would get to.
Boiling. Much like the lightning that you sent through that guy's Ford Fiesta. That is the temperature of your hypothesis.
Yeah.
I can say with that, you have a successful conviction. You have worked out who did what and how they did it. You see the camera sort of pans through the courtroom as you're like giving evidence as like a sad song plays, and you see like a silver BMW pull up outside a small vet surgery in Yeovil, and a tall elderly man walks inside with a bunch of white lilies to tell someone a story about their parents, and we fade to end credits. Yeah, I hope you have fun with that one.
I did.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was honestly expecting the daughter thing to be a massive red herring.
Well,
I thought you were going full hot fuzz by having this really intriguing plot about involving adultery and lies and things like that, and it was literally just vegetables. Until you said, "Oh no, the runner was dead." It's like, oh. Then when we went to speak to the neighbour, that's why I was checking for cutting hedgerows that don't belong to them.
So the actual motivation was, the whole thing, like the jealousy about Pamela Spencer, as she was back then, and the daughter. So he always resented him. And then he had knowledge of the command insect's power because he had seen him catching butterflies for his butterfly room in the downstairs loo. Mm-hmm. And then when he was hit with a completely mundane insect infestation, he assumed that the guy was fucking with him, which was when he sent the angry note. And then when he didn't get any response from the angry note, when he kind of just dismissed it, then he started plotting murder. Yeah. Absolutely right. He laced the fertilizer with iron-rich chemicals. They traveled up, stored into the pumpkin. And then he used the iron to animate the vines around the pumpkin and just crush the guy. Absolutely correct. He did not know he had the teleportation power. He heard Mabel Thatcher opening the door, and the guy he managed to blind the guy with the vines, so he couldn't see where he was aiming his blood spray. He didn't actually get any of the blood spray on him.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. How are they going to keep this guy in a prison?
Presumably there are anti-teleportation.
Maybe?
Teleportation is one of the Schedule 18 powers in the US. It is, if you have it, you're going to an NSA bunker and you're not coming out. Yeah.
Presumably there's a range on teleportation, so you just bury him in a perspex cage.
He has 1 point of teleportation. He used it to teleport 100 meters down, which is where he thought, oh shit, I've got a hand on me. Throw it over the hedge. And then, just walked back. So he said, I just really want to go home. And his 1 point of teleportation took him as far towards home as he could.
Did he use his spatial awareness for anything?
He doesn't have spatial awareness. You can skip powers.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It costs points when you're building a character to skip powers. But yeah, if you have force field and spatial awareness, you won't necessarily have telekinesis. You just usually do. Essentially what it does is it turns the link between spatial awareness and force field into a correlated power, as opposed to two connected powers.
But it's still cheaper to skip telekinesis than to pick up telekinesis.
Yes,
and
it's 2 points to skip it, 4 to take it, and take 1. Yeah. So that was the plot I concocted. I hope that sort of
it's good.
Worked out and made internal logical sense. I was like, there's going to be plot holes in this you could drive a truck through, and I'm just going to hope that I'm going to notice them. I haven't noticed them.
No, it was good. I think Gumshoe as a system is interesting.
Yeah, I like it.
It's not perfect.
No, it's not, and the setting is definitely not perfect. The game is
the setting you've gone for. Beautiful.
Thank you. I think it's the only real way to play this game. It's okay.
With a tongue so far in your cheek that you may be doing permanent damage.